Hello, people. Episode 6. We on episode 6 already. Episode
Yeah.
6. Making progress. Episode 6 of Ball Don't Lie, the show where you guys get to come up, chop it up, talk hoops, share your opinion, blah blah blah, all that good stuff. As you can tell by today's title, and I think it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a relevant one based on some of the things I've heard spoken about in the past few days,
Mm-hmm.
from some former NBA players. Um, this was Real Talk's idea, so I'm going to go straight to you. But we are going to talk about what makes someone a better basketball player. What does it mean to say player A is better than player B? Um, Real Talk, I'm going to give you the floor right away. Just what made you want to talk about this? What do you think the answer to that question is? All of that good stuff. Just talk to me.
Um. Well, obviously, we've been seeing the little tit for tat between Draymond Green and Kenyon Martin, and you know, Kenyon Martin has this position where he's saying, "Forget the accolades and stuff. Let's talk basketball, right? I'm a better
Facts.
basketball player than." And so, number one, I want to know what that means for people. This is also why I wanted to do this today because I honestly want to ask you all and give y'all's honest opinion. Like, what to you makes a player better? I want to get into people's logic, their reasoning. I'm not even saying that mine is perfect. Mine is flawed, to be honest with you. I don't think there's a perfect way to do these things right now, or to a perfect way to determine who's in fact better, right? Because do you do the, well, if you're not a good enough one, but you're a better three, and you know, we can win a championship with you at the value at the three, but the other guy can't scale his game down and all, it's I think it's an interesting conversation. Um, yeah, I'm trying to come to some kind of conclusion as a ball don't lie community today,
Mm.
and hopefully we can have like a ball don't lie checklist of maybe 5 things we agree on. Hey, this is what I'm determining to make a player better. You know what I'm saying?
So you're saying you don't have an official answer for that?
I would say for me, and this is also what I've been thinking, Mars, by the way, because you've heard me like describe what I value plenty of times by now. And so when I thought about it, I'm like, I should really like Shay. He should be like my favorite player in the league right now. As far as like the history of who are usually my favorite players, Kobe, D, I'm very high on Dwayne Wade. Like Dwayne Wade is one of my favorite players. Um, I always talk about two-way wing and being able to score and defend. Um, and yeah, if I'm consistent with that, nobody in the league right now does that better than Shea. So
You went against all of that for someone who gets PRA. Sad.
yeah, yeah,
Sad, man. It's sad going against all
yeah,
your
yeah,
beliefs.
yeah. But yeah, skill
Um,
set for me is probably, I think that's just me personally, that's always going to be number one to me. Like I value skill because I feel like skill leads to more availability, being able to play more ways on the court because you have the skills to do so. Like to me, that basis kind of makes sense. That foundation of that logic, does it not to you?
yeah. I think yeah, it makes sense. There's always going to be outliers. That's always the
Yeah, yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I think outliers is what makes like these conversations difficult.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I think I've changed. One of the ways in which I've changed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think things have to be one size fits all. I don't think something has to be true for everyone in order for it to still make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think there are just exceptions to the rule. And as long as you can explain why you think X player is an exception, I think that's fine. But I don't
Mm-hmm.
think it should have to be, I think X, Therefore, I'm gonna follow X all the way down to the bottom degree, and then you end up with some janky opinions that I think, when held up to any sort of scrutiny,
Yeah.
don't look right. So
That's why I've
I don't know.
loved I loved when Ox said that, bro. When he said, bro, it's basketball, it's not going to be consistent. Like, it actually made me stop and think, like, you, because he says that. He's like, bro, you asking for like this logic, and he's like, it's basketball. It's not just going to be blah 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 blah. And it's really like, yeah, duh, that makes sense. So why do we try to like make it fit in these boxes and always got to be this and got to do that, right? But then if you talk about impact on game, well, there are a host of different variables that can contribute to you being impactful on said team that you're on, right? Do the surrounding players have skills that you don't possess, and now your strengths are magnified and your weaknesses are you know hidden? You know what I'm saying? Even as I'm thinking right now, it's gonna be like, I hate Jokic, but for example, Jokic, right? So Jokic right now is participating in one of the best defenses in the league. Correct?
Cleaning the glass, yes.
Okay. Um
Oh, they've actually dropped their
that
12th now. God damn.
oh wow. Wowzers.
I'll check dunks and threes to see if that helps.
But even that, right? That doesn't then make him a good defender. You see what I'm saying? Like, so we use this thing. I know this gets said a lot. Well, if I'm able to hide the offensive player in the defensive scheme, right, and when he doesn't get hunted and da 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 da, then him being a bad defender doesn't matter. And in that specific context, I guess. But what if you're not in that context? What if you're in a context where you have to guard more regularly? Like, what about then?
I agree. I think that's absolutely correct. But I think, and I agree with everything you said, but I think just looking at it, just flip it. No one, apart from like a small minority of people who I think they know they're wrong, but they're just yapping. No one would say Rudy Gobert was part of some top 5 offenses. So you know what? He's actually a good offensive player because he's been competent within offensive schemes. Like, I don't think anyone would ever say that. But when it's defense and you're a great offensive player,
exactly,
and you're part of some good defenses, that apparently is proof that you're not that bad of a defender.
Exactly.
But like, if you just flip the logic, we know that's
it doesn't hold.
No one's gonna be like, "Hey, Bruce Bowen was actually a good offensive player." Like, no one does that. The 2016 Thunder were a good offense. Andre Roberson. Like, no one has ever done these things. But when it's defense, apparently that makes it true. So that's where that's where I've started to like become a bit skeptical of the idea. And I think the reason I don't want to say being inconsistent is fine, but the reason I don't think you have to follow a set criteria for every player is because if basketball was fair, that would mean every player would have the exact same teammates, the exact same quality, the exact same strengths, weaknesses, blah, blah, blah. And then you could look at it from that perspective. But when there's variables that are quite frankly out of people's control, it's not going to be fair. So you can't expect it to be logically consistent the whole way through when people have different variables working for or against them. And that's just life. And I think that's okay. Like, I think that's okay. So that's where I'm at with it. But yeah, I do think I am curious to hear what everyone else thinks, because I think we're kind of in agreement. But I got some people in the back. I do want to say, if you aren't here to talk about the topic, like in some capacity, like we're not here to talk about the Pistons. Like, no disrespect, we're not. Like, we're here to talk about what makes people better. You can talk about you think X player is better than X player, and we'll talk about it. But it has to be relating to the title topic. So if you're not here to do that, feel free to leave. So other people can come up. But that's what we're talking about. I'm gonna bring some of you guys up. Just give me your thoughts on what we're talking about, all that good stuff. Let's get some people up here. So we got your best friend, real talk. You guys friends again? I just want to make sure you guys friends.
I'm never not friends with football.
I apologize for the ad hominem attacks. That was not right.
Oh,
I was just salty.
Nah, bro, you good, bro. Man, it's the internet, bro. It's jokes, bro. I
Yeah,
promise.
no, we cool, we cool.
There we
Um,
go. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, go ahead, football.
oh no, it's tricky, especially when it comes to team sports, because it's like, yeah, you can be better like at all aspects of basketball in a certain sense, like the Kenyon Martin, Draymond Green debate. But it's like sometimes there's players who are not fortunate to be put in a situation to where their skill set is what a team that's on the cusp of a championship needs, right? And I'll give you one example of a player which I feel like has weirdly never been in a situation where he's been on a championship level team, but that could really use him for his mercenary scoring like skill set, and that's Zach LaVine. Like a lot of people will say X player was better than Zach LaVine, and that's solely because Zach LaVine has. I don't think Zach LaVine's been in a situation where his skill set would be additive to a winning organization or equation or formula, right? Because we've seen what Draymond Green looks like when Steph's not on the court. Like we've seen that for extended stretches, and it's not been pretty. It's been really ugly, or he just doesn't want to play basketball, right? And it's not to say that Draymond Green's a bad basketball player, but he is more of a complementary piece than say a Kenyon Martin. But Kenyon Martin might be also worse at doing what Draymond Green's role is for that helps make Golden State tick, right? So people are going to be like, well, Kenyon Martin can do what Draymond Green does. Well, it's like, well, yeah, but in a different equation or a different team construction that has the potential to win a championship, Draymond Green might not be able to do what Kenyon Martin does in that scenario. So it's tough to evaluate, in my opinion. Better who's better when it's players of that caliber. So I don't
I
know.
agree. I do think Draymond's better than Kenyon Martin, by the way. Just to put it out there.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I do too. The defense to me is a huge.
Kenyon is 14.9 points that he led
Yeah.
the
Hey, he led the team in scoring. He led the team in
Right.
scoring. Yeah.
So-
Respect to him clearing Keith Van Horn by
So-
1
so
point
yeah.
every
on the
10
field.
games.
So I think people need to take that into
Dead
account
well.
when evaluating players and skill set and talent. Like, and this is why I know you, Mars, always harp on versatility a lot when evaluating players, because the more versatile player will be able to theoretically fit in more systems, right? So adopt more roles, things of that nature.
I also want to say, and Zach LaVine, I think, is like a pretty good example of this. And I've been trying to preach this for a while. Contract should have no bearing on who's a better player. Like I'm tired of hearing X player is better than Y player because the other guy is being overpaid. Like I'm sorry, I don't care. I'm not paying these guys. I'm watching this guy and I'm watching that guy play, and one is better. I don't care that he's not worth 55 million. He's still better than the guy making 12. And once again, similar to the Rudy Gobert offense point, the flip side of this never applies. Because if it was the case of, oh, we're only judging relative to contract, then 2016 Steph is by far the best player ever because he was producing like that, making 11 million. But we never inverse it. We never do it the way where if someone's being drastically underpaid, they're better than everyone ever. Steph was making Drew Holiday money, producing one of the best seasons we've ever seen. But no one's going to be like, you know what? He's actually better than Michael Jordan because relative to salary cap, like no one's ever done that. But when someone's overpaid, that's all you want to do. You want to say this guy's worse because he's being overpaid. So I hate that. I hate that a lot. And I think Zach LaVine, this season, Zach LaVine hasn't been very impressive to me. I'll say that. The last 3 weeks have not been great. He started off quite good, but the last
Kings are a mess of a team. It's an ugly constructed team anyway.
But I do think if Zach LaVine was making, like, once again, to the money point, if Zach LaVine was making 22 million, he'd be on a contending team. No doubt in my mind. He'd be hooping really at a high level. And people were like, oh my God, Zach LaVine, he's so good. It's like, he's the same player. He's just overpaid. So I don't think contracts should have anything to do with how good a player is. Now, how valuable a player is in the NBA, cool. But that's not what's being spoken about when we say who's better. So
he's also like
that's a
quintessential two guard. Like Zach LaVine is a two. You know what I'm saying? And that line gets blurred a lot, you know what I'm saying? Because ones and twos are basically both, you know, whoever handles the ball the best is probably the one running the offense, and a lot of those are two guards. The other ones like D Mitch and D Book, they do it. But Zach LaVine is off ball, brother. Yeah, he's coming off pin downs. He's running in transition. He can catch and shoot. He can attack a closeout. Not saying that he can't do anything on ball, but if it is on ball, he's trying to score. He's a two guard, and I don't know. Some teams probably don't feel like because he can't put it on the floor, that added value isn't there. So he's overpaid.
Do you guys take into account when evaluating players? It's just kind of like the Reeves, Derek White debate you had. Is it even worth debating someone as a one if in a team context, if they're not going to ever realistically be a one on a good team? Is it worth debating? Like, oh, what if this player was a one? It's like they'll never be a one.
I think it's relevant in the sense that if you run him with bench lineups, or in the sense of if one of our two top guys is out with an injury, then he can keep us afloat for 10 games. So I think in that sense, but I don't think he's good on the Washington Wizards. You should bear on anything because reality, who cares?
So, how do you miss that?
I don't agree with even if they're both not. What's up, Bob? Oh, boy, I got the hat off today.
I'm at work.
Okay. Because when you first start playing basketball, the objective is to be the one. I know. This is like something I've been thinking about for a while now. I'm not gonna lie. Right. So when you first start playing a sport, nobody starts playing a sport to be the dirty work guy. That's not why people start playing a sport. Everybody starts playing to be able to score the basketball, handle the basketball. These are the fundamentals, right? So as you elevate into different levels of the game, what's really happening is, okay, what level do you max out at to where you being the best player on the team no longer, that's not a thing anymore, right? So that's why people go from in high school, Patrick Beverly was averaging 37, right? It's not that Patrick Beverly didn't want to go to the NBA and average 37. It's the fact that he couldn't. That level of play determined that he was no longer going to be a number one. So a guy like Draymond, right, when we compare him to these other players that are number ones and twos in the NBA, you also need to realize what that means. That means that they've been determined, whether you like it or disagree or whatever, to be best players on teams. We've already determined that you're not that, right? The level of play, I think even when Draymond got to college, by that time, it was like, oh, yeah, you're not that anymore. So now he has to adapt and find a new role in which he can thrive and have a long, successful NBA career.
I think Draymond is being slept on a little bit in terms of that. I know we saw 2019-20, and I think one of the things is he just didn't care. But I think 15-16 Draymond you can put on a terrible team, and he would probably. Again, this is a bit of a circular argument because we're talking about what does it mean to be the best player. I think he was the best player, and they probably win games because he enforces a good defensive culture and gets them in the right places. And maybe he's not the main scoring option, but he does other things that kind of helps them win. But
so why did every time he went up a level in basketball, he got worse as an offensive player?
I haven't watched Draymond in high school or in college, so I have no idea.
No, I'm saying his offensive production, in high school, I'm sure Draymond's averaging 20-something plus points.
But what I'm saying is he would not be the best player on the Washington Wizards current 2016, who was the Sixers, whatever, by being the go-to tween hissy pull-up guy. He would be the best player by telling everyone where to go, by stopping 15 plays a game. The other teams are trying to score, thereby swinging a bunch of points. He would basically be the Bill Russell of today on a bad team, where it's just defense and passing. But I think
because you're basing this off of best player. So let me rephrase it. Best offensive player on team. Best scorer, best offensive player. The one. You are the one.
so.
Right?
Bill Russell was not a one. Just to be clear, he's not a
Also, a
one.
different era of basketball.
Just because I know one person, and maybe one other, maybe calls Bill Russell the GOAT, and I feel like if we're saying someone's calling him the greatest of all time, and I know different sports and basketball is still playing on two ends.
That's his greatest list, though. That's like measuring like relative
accolades.
to era and all of that. His best player list wouldn't have.
Not doing
but his
accolades.
but this is actually a great. This is actually. I'm glad you brought that up. That is his greatest list.
Mm-hmm.
He will also tell you if we are talking about who's better. Michael Jordan and LeBron are better than Bill Russell. Is that not what you say, Mars?
I also think Wilt Chamberlain's better.
Okay,
but
see what I'm saying?
It's like
so the greatest is factoring in some, but longevity. Just like the conversation, who's a better player? Mars does not think Bill Russell's the best player to play in the NBA.
Yeah, but it's also like I was just gonna say real quick.
Mars.
Let Bob go right quick.
Yeah, because I was just gonna run real quick, but I just want to bring up a point because this goes into what all you guys were saying. Like if you look at even in today's and Josh Giddey. When you look at how Josh Giddey was on the OKC, what he was doing is the same thing pretty much he's doing in Chicago. But
Bob,
you just stopped being able to hear you. Yeah.
Okay, I thought I was tripping.
Yeah,
Bob, we can't hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you no more.
Bob.
He was just talking too. He said Josh Giddey, and then
can you hear me now?
There you go. You bet.
All right, cool. No, because what I was saying was when you look at Josh Giddey on Chicago, now he looks like a number one. But when you put him in OKC, he didn't even look like a top 3 player on that team. But his roles change and the ability to do what he's doing gives him credit. So for me, when you look at a player who has an opportunity to be a number one, it's based off of what they can do for said organization. Because Josh Giddey couldn't do what he's doing with a guy like Shea, but he can do it on Chicago. So when you look and compare to people, we see the highlights, we see all the beautiful things, but what really goes into it, you have to see what they bring to the table for their organization. And even if they're not a number one, their contribution is big enough to where they have to be there. Like Draymond Green, him rebounding, him being a ball handler, him setting up screens, him setting up patches. That helps out the guys that are at the top. And Steph Curry, when he had Clay, when he had KD, all those things he's doing contributes to them being a championship caliber team. If he were to go somewhere else with lesser talent, he would have no value. So when you look at everything on a scale, it's very difficult to say who's the best player, who's this and that. But for me, my best thing is I've always seen Josh Giddey be like this, but for him to be this offensive of a player and have a little bit of defense behind it is surprising. So how do you now grade Josh Giddey? You can't grade him because, he went on a different team. This is a different player. No, it's the same player. But at the same time, his development in the game grew to where now he's starting to become a household name. That's another thing that a lot of people don't realize. Like when you look at Kyrie, everyone wants a Kyrie. But you can't have a Kyrie on a certain team and expect to be successful because Kyrie does so much. You need others to do other things to make him good. So that's why I was just trying to say, like, for me, I believe Josh Giddey has always been this player, but he won't get his reps until he went to Chicago. And how people are, that's how we have to grade these things. Like, this person's good. Look at Brunson. Brunson was a beast when he was with Dallas. Now you see him over here. He looked like a nightmare. But he's just doing what he's always been doing. So for me, I look at him as a killer. But when you look at him compared to Giddey, you're like, he's not as good as Giddey. But when you see Giddey on Chicago, you're like, yo, he's putting in that work. He looks better than Brunson now. So that's all I really had to say was just that. You guys have a good one. I gotta go, my barber and stuff. I see y'all guys later. Thank you for having me on. Go New York, go New York, go.
All right, Bob.
Haircut, man.
Yeah, I think it's.
I just wanted to ask something because I know I remember what Mars said, but about your list is how good are you for how long?
That's my greatest list. Yeah, pretty much in summary.
So
yeah.
It's not the accolades. It's not anything championships. It's how good you like. It's the best for a career, not the best for a year.
Yeah.
I think I just wanted to make that point because Real Talk made it sound like it was something else. And okay, let's say he's not.
Also its impact relative to era.
That's
what
it tells me. I think that's what I'm getting to. If we can say that the best for a long time relative to era, which is also how I try to do it, can be a non-score, main score, defensive main guy, offensive kind of hub. I can't accept the notion that every good main scorer is just better at basketball than Draymond Green because the goal of basketball was
that
to
is
become
such
number
a
one.
regressive way to think about something that is ever so evolving. To reduce your opinion to let me do a relative to era debate that is focusing on a period of time where the sport is dead ass it just started not too long ago. This started being a professional league. And then to act like rules,
but the goal of basketball back then was also to be
all
the
of these
number
things have changed throughout. That's not even that's not an argument that holds up.
But
so
it was because you made the argument. Let me attack
stages of basketball. We have to hold that logic to 2025.
No, but it's not. But it's also not that extreme. I am acknowledging that defense has become less important because of the 3-point line and so on. I'm acknowledging all of this, but I'm just trying to say. I mean, back then, I assume.
Dang.
We're still here? We're still here? Okay. So I was just saying, I'm assuming it's just because Real Talk, you said the goal of basketball when you start playing basketball is to be the number one. And I'm like, it probably was back then too. And it probably was in the 90s too, and in the 2000s too. And I think a lot of people will argue that the best player on the championship team was Ben Wallace in 2004, or Tim Duncan 2005, where maybe Manu was the best offensive main guy, and Tim Duncan, exactly, was this defensive hub. So I'm just saying, like, even if we don't use Bill Russell, like the goal in 2005 when you grew up basketball was to be the best player. But Tim Duncan was the best player on the championship team, not as the number one main guy. That was more like Manu and Tony and the offense evolving around, and they're the best offensive player, and he was just the best defensive player.
By what year? By what year was that?
I said 05.
It was Tony and Manu and moving the ball all around, and then
I'm just saying. I think
it was Manu Ginobili. That's what it was. It was Manu Ginobili
in 05.
In 05.
Do people disagree that Manu might have been the best offensive player on the Spurs?
Might have been is different from.
I know what I saw. I'll say that. I know what I saw.
It's different from the argument you're trying to make with Draymond. But anyway, go on.
Like, I mean, I know it's not as extreme as with Draymond, but like
Duncan to Draymond Green, Tim Duncan's a far superior offensive player.
Yeah.
He was, and he was also another guy deemed good enough to be a number one as well on a championship team.
Yeah, but
as the best offensive player on the team, and they won like that, and they won with him being the best defensive player.
Yeah.
But don't skip that he was a good enough one.
Well, I don't think he's saying Tim Duncan and Draymond's are equal.
Yeah,
but I'm saying it's not like but Tim.
I mean, Garnett on the 08 is Garnett on the 08 Celtics better?
That's what I'm saying.
Is Garnett on the 08 Celtics better? Is that a better example? I'm not saying Draymond is the best player in the 2016 Warriors or 15 Warriors or whatever.
Garnett's also.
I know he's better. Like I'm trying to say, we can have these defensive number ones, offensive number twos, be what is rightly considered the best player, right? Am I crazy to say Kevin Garnett was the best player?
I think that's correct. I think
I actually agree with like if your argument is about player.
But Draymond's an offensive number two in like one situation ever.
Yes.
So and I think he's not an offensive number two. He just
when was he?
Like, he's not.
When?
Like you could like the best case you're gonna get is you could argue 2016. Even then, Clay was there, but like that's the best you're gonna get. So like he's not a defensive number one, offensive number two. He's a defensive one, offensive number three at best. Like that's what he is.
The problem with the Draymond assessment is I think a lot of times people conflate his role on offense of being that swing connective passer to him being who's the biggest offensive threat per se. Like in the totality of offense. Like, yeah, his role is very crucial and he's like the only one who can do it on Golden State. But you wouldn't say he's the second best offensive player on Golden State ever.
Of course not.
The championship runs. You might not even say he's top three.
But I'd say his value comes from defense. Okay, I actually was not trying to talk Draymond today. It was just brought up and we kind of went there. I don't want to talk Draymond Green because we can do something else. But maybe what I want to say is being the best NBA player, let's just say it like that. I do think it has to relate to how you impact the goal of winning. You can either say games or championships. And I also do think it should probably be as independent.
Why is it only limited to the NBA though?
Because I think that's what we're talking about now. You and Mars went international included when they brought up Pau Gasol as better power forward than Anthony Davis. So we're not including non-NBA things.
What does that mean?
Because when they did the Pau Gasol AD thing and they said international included, then Mars did his light voice and did international included. And then, but it's like, we're not including that Wemby can swat the ball off the rim if it bounces up there in the EuroLeague. Can we agree on that?
Well, I think AD would be better than Pau Gasol and FIBA too.
I agree. But that's because, like, we all agree we're not talking FIBA basketball. We're talking NBA rules. We're talking the NBA.
But no, this title, and this is also why I wanted to. I'm saying what constitutes a better basketball player? Basketball player, not NBA player. Basketball player. The reason why I brought up the wanting to be a number one or the best offensive player, that is usually encapsulated with best offensive player on team at the youth level. This is what I'm having a bigger conversation than the NBA. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. These are not our lists conversations. We're not talking about when we make a list of the best NBA players or the best power forwards of all time. That's not what we're talking about. And we're just talking about what does constitute. So then I'd say it would probably constitute, because the rules are so different, it would probably constitute being good in. I think you'd have to divide it up. You can be the best high school player, college player, NBA player, international player, or EuroLeague player or Euro Cup player or whatever. But I do think just talking about it so wide, because I've never ever heard anyone mention how Wemby can swat the ball off the rim if it just bounces up there in EuroLeague.
Okay. Let me
hold on, real quick, because I think I have I want to make it more clear what I'm trying to say. So for some people, I'm going to bring up another name, and some of y'all will know who I'm talking about. This argument, if they were talking about this in Gil's Arena, Mars, if they brought up a name like, is Mike James better than Draymond Green? I'm sure some of them feel like Mike James is better than him, but Draymond's like a better NBA player. Like that would have been said in that kind of environment. And I'm saying,
would you agree with them?
I would understand what they're saying.
Me too. But
I would understand what they're saying. That's what I'm saying. And so, like,
I would also.
Okay,
would Mike James not be better like in every other form of basketball?
Well, not necessarily, because at the end of the day, he's still going to be.
I'm talking about college, high school. I know what you mean, but like in all these like levels of basketball, there is a through line of there's a reason like a lot of these like basketball players, pro basketball players, run back to one-on-one, because one-on-one, even though we're talking about a 5v5 context, one-on-one is the foundation of the sport. Like I think there's been like a kind of diminishment of scoring and individual defense in some of these talks, especially like online and Twitter. Like scoring the basketball on your one-on-one and then individually strapping up a player is the two most important things in basketball to me, like bar none. And
I heavily disagree with that, but okay.
Like I
Which
think
part do you
bar
disagree
none, that's like a
That strapping up the opposing player is the second or first most important thing, I would say, being an off-ball. Okay, you win more basketball with a great off-ball defender in the NBA than a great
that's the
on-ball
NBA.
defender.
If everyone could strap up on ball, what would be the value of off ball defense?
But everyone can't. That's the problem.
But that doesn't. But if everyone could,
Philosophically,
yeah.
I still think you then have screening actions. You could back card. You could do things where you still put them in bad positions. But I also think, I mean, that also relates to my.
But what if I just isolate your
You could use
off-ball
screening
defender?
actions to just get the off ball defender on the ball.
What are you saying?
You could just use screening actions to get the off ball defender to guard on ball.
Yeah, and unless he's terrible, then he's probably not going to be brought up. But like,
I just think the conversation around team sports,
I guess, bro.
particularly like basketball and soccer, is the best players are usually evaluate. It starts with offense. Who's the catalyst? Who's the initial playmaker? Who can score, right? And then, for instance, like the Mike James comparison. The reason Mike James maybe isn't in the league, I don't know. I'm not going to act like I watch Mike James. Is because, or people would say Draymond's better than Mike James, is because what Mike James does well or better than Draymond, which is offense, creating his own shot, shooting, right? He's not due to a great enough threshold to where he's going to have that role in an NBA team that has high aspirations, right? Whereas Draymond is going to have more impact on winning because his ability on defense is so high and so elite that he's going to have more roles on championship constructing teams or just good teams in general. No, he's not as good as Mike James is shooting or off the ball or many things concerning scoring. But what he's good at, he's in the higher percentile than what Mike James is better than Draymond at. So therefore, if your offense is not past the scoring threshold, you're probably not going to be ranked ahead of someone who's very flawed offensively but very good in a certain role. You know what I mean? Like you're always going to start off on offense when evaluating who's better in basketball. Like we can try to do all the gymnastics, but when it comes to basketball in a high-scoring game, you're going to start off evaluating someone's offense, and then you see what other intangibles they have.
Like,
but I think yeah. I don't want to take too much into anything else. Does anyone else have anything
like
to say?
last night in Real Talk, your playback room, you asked a question like, why is talent? What is talent? And like, why do like different basketball players define talent as like, just like bag and scoring? But like, I think that's what it is. Like, it's just fundamentally like this shit is like. There's a reason like that dumb shit like we're talking about in the offseason where like people overrating Derek White and calling him like better than Jaylen Brown. Like it's just simply not the case. Jaylen Brown is like. I'm high on Jaylen Brown because of this year, obviously, because like he's scoring the ball so well. He's a great isolation scorer. He's a great individual defender.
He is.
And he's very athletic. And those two things, he's not creating like high level offense. He's not throwing skid passes around. But that individual scoring talent, that individual talent to like stay in front of your man and not like get blown by consistently and give easy buckets, those are like fundamentally like I think that's just gonna make you a better player. And I think people are like
I think that's
I don't want to say overthinking it. I think people are just overthinking things sometimes, bro.
Jaylen Brown is a good example of like what you're talking about as far as like that kind of player used to be seen in a very good light, right? A Jaylen Brown in the league. Good scorer on the ball, can get to the basket, can hit jump shots, can play good individual defense, right? He would have been, I think the narrative around Jaylen Brown in like the 2000s would be a lot different than what the narrative around Jaylen Brown is. Everybody be like, oh, Jaylen Brown ass. Yeah, we know.
I don't think that.
Left hand.
No, I'm saying that is the perception around Jaylen Brown. We're not going to sit here and act like Jaylen Brown now don't be getting laughed at and given that all the
I think people
time.
were going in too hard on the he has no left hand, but like there's a lot of teams, championship teams of championship aspirations that would take Jaylen Brown in a heartbeat. Like, in my opinion. But.
Yes.
Can
I don't want to. Go ahead.
Yeah. First of all, to answer the initial question, I want to say that it's different. The difference for me between all time and current is not longevity or just like relative to era, but also when I'm ranking current players, I always do it theoretically. I don't really care about how injury prone you are, what kind of team you have. Usually, it's just purely theoretical. Like if everyone in the league is healthy, if everyone is on the same contract, like, I don't tax players for that kind of stuff. But if I'm doing it all time, then the theory is gone. It's what you did with the cards that you were dealt. So yeah, if you had no chance, like for example KG with the Wolves, then it's not your fault. But if some of it was your own doing, then it's not my fault either. Like so, it always comes down to who I'd rather have on my team. Basically, when I'm talking about all time, I do put things that I don't put in current players when I'm ranking current players. Because when I'm ranking current players, like I said, I don't really care who I'd rather have on my team. Because yeah, I wouldn't want to have a Joel Embiid or Kawhi Leonard, but I have to respect what they do on the court and assume that everyone is healthy. That's just how I do it. I don't do that all the time. I don't do that at all the time. But when it comes to this topic of defense, I think one of the reasons I very much disagree with Yalmar's point is not really about the defense itself, but it's basically like I think you guys, not just him, but like a lot of people overestimate how much of a fall a star has when he gets a limited role. Like we always think of examples and we assume it's the majority, but it's not. Like yeah, for sure, Melo is not a good role player. I mean, yeah, that's probably Melo. Maybe John Wall wouldn't have been, but most stars would still be good as number threes. There are very few, especially like if we remove these ball dominant point guards from the equation, most stars at every position outside of the point guard position would do well as role players. So that's what Real Talk was talking about from a basketball player's perspective. Usually they adjust so well when they get to the league because they were that good to begin with. So they have to adjust to fit next to guys who are better than them. It doesn't mean the guys who are better than them, if the tables were turned, would be bad role players. Sure, like if people wanted to have Draymond Green as the best player, and let's say they wanted to have like Al Horford playing dirty work in 2015, Al Horford could have been as good as Draymond Green as a role player. I just think like Kevin Love. I mean, a lot of players in different positions. Giannis. Imagine if Giannis was just asked to play defense.
Right.
I am okay. I think Giannis is better than Draymond. I will say that right now.
And he's better than Jokic too.
We can do that later, but I would just want to say Kevin Love and Al Horford. Al Horford is a really good defender. I just sit down and watch the whole Steph Curry 12 threes or 11 threes or whatever, where he hits the game winner and it goes bang. Draymond Green, yes, the OKC game and the Clay game. Draymond Green is a one-of-one defensive player. I also think he's one. Like I've watched him, Tim Duncan, and Kevin Garnett. I think he has the best instincts I've ever seen. I think Draymond is like what people say of Steph Curry and Jokic and whatever on offense. Draymond is somewhere equivalent to that on defense. He's just not tall enough to where he's better than Hakeem or KG or Tim Duncan. I just want to say that because Amir brought up that Kevin Love and Al Horford could be better than him. And I just don't think that because I think he's that good of a defensive player.
I mean, I'm not saying they're better defenders than him. I'm just saying that
No, but he's
they are
like that
good
good
enough.
on defense.
They are good enough to be better defenders than they were perceived if they had a limited offensive role. That was what I'm saying. Not
Was
that
he
they
that
would be as good as
efficient?
him. What?
What do you want to say, Mars?
I was gonna ask, if LeBron James didn't have to play offense, could he do what Draymond Green does on defense?
Absolutely.
If
I
LeBron didn't have to
don't.
play
I think so.
offense,
I think maybe. I don't know if he could be as good of a like just the instincts Draymond has are actually insane. But I
yes.
think
Can
Can he
maybe,
make up with that for athleticism?
I think Draymond was also maybe better at guarding smaller players and like just knowing like switched on to other players.
He's a better POA defender for sure.
I was gonna say, but like
But
a
is
better
that
example
because
is like
LeBron was already fatigued from having to carry an offense?
Maybe. I don't. I like. I'm not. Like. I don't have the. I can't see it. So I'm just saying maybe.
I think so, actually. I think LeBron has shown enough adaptability throughout his career at improving at things that he had no idea how to do early on to prove that if he put all of his focus on if like he did with his mid-range game or his post game or his shooting, we've seen
If
him
you get the
improve from,
development.
yeah, like if that was his goal to begin with,
then maybe.
he's probably one of the easy. Like I haven't seen people talk about it much. It's probably an underrated attribute of LeBron. The fact that he just improves so quickly at so many things.
I agree.
Yeah, like I'd agree. I'd say that he would be actually one of, if not the greatest defender of all time, if that was his role to begin with.
Is LeBron a better defender than Draymond at his best?
No. Because he has to
I
play
don't think he
offense.
provided that level of impact on defense.
No.
like
You think that hurts him
you're
as a
talking about,
defensive player? Because Miami's never that good of a defense. Like they're never at those heights that you'd expect of a DPOY level defender that we claim LeBron was.
It's hard for one amazing player to carry a whole defense more so than one great offensive player to affect the offense.
But Draymond could.
Not really.
He was not
it
running the
depends on
offense.
the defenders around Draymond.
I don't think anyone can carry a defense.
You're still not assorting for the offensive load in that situation either, though, right? So you're saying, well, if he was DPOY,
Oh yeah, I'm not making super LeBron. I'm just saying LeBron as he was as a basketball player. Was he a better defender than Draymond Green at his best?
No,
I think if LeBron
he
had to only play defense, he could. But I mean, I don't want to keep it on.
You're making super LeBron by taking away his offense.
No.
I'm saying that you're making him this much better of a defender because you think that with this reduced level, he becomes a better defender.
Are we making him a better defender or are we making him a worse offensive player?
I just think you're making him not play offense. I mean, Draymond also has to play offense, right? Like in the thing you're saying right now.
We know it's not the same offense.
I mean, yeah, he has to set screens and play in a 4-on-3.
No, but you're not
like if Bron only had to set screens, if Bron had to set screens, play 4-on-3, do I think he could quarterback a defense, be switchable, be mobile, protect the rim at 6'9", play the 5 in instance in 2016? Yes.
Yeah,
I agree.
I think I agree with that. But
I know these are small sample sizes and the competition is inferior, but if you ever watch Bron the Olympics, where he's playing, especially 2012, he's playing pretty much just off ball. The dude was just like a super defensive off ball demon. Like he really was. And then
that's true.
And then, for instance, another player who looked crazy off ball, where again, if their skill set, they didn't have to do so much on ball. Melo. Like, can you imagine if Melo was allowed just to be an off-ball shooter? Like,
he wasn't that level of shooter in Denver, though.
It would be wild.
It took him to like New York.
I think
come that level.
But scaling back isn't as hard as I think people say it is. That's all it is. I don't think scaling back is as hard as people say.
People gas these like ancillary skills for no reason, bro. Like I'm telling you. Like
scale is infinite.
No one has ever looked at like a nigga get through a screen and like that player's like really talented. Like no one has ever said that. Like There's a reason.
Hey, you don't know what I was
attribute
saying about
talent.
Indiana Paul George. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
you
there
don't know
you
what I was
go.
saying
There
about
you
Indiana Paul George.
I think that's actually wrong, and I do think there has been people who have looked at a guy play. I know you said get through screens. There are people who look at someone play defense and be like, that guy is really talented. So I just want to say that's wrong.
No, I'm not saying that as a whole. I'm saying as a whole, yeah, you can look at a player who's talented, but people I think gas kind of like these smaller skills and act like they're really like the pinnacle of difficulty in basketball. And
I think people look at Steven Adams and say he's talented because he's such a good rebounder, but like it doesn't mean he's better than other players.
Is Steven Adams better than Zach LaVine?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Exactly, bro.
What type of question is that, Morris?
Because they're rebounding. Who
impacts their team more?
Yeah, he's talking about the impact.
I actually think rebounding is very underrated as a skill.
I agree, but wouldn't one be able to strongly argue that Steven Adams impacts his team more than Zach LaVine impacts his?
No,
I don't think you can make that argument because he's that inept offensive.
But I think Zach could impact other teams. There's the Sacramento.
I'm pretty sure most impact metrics would say Steven Adams.
Theoretically speaking, no, but practically speaking, yes, because I mean, LaVine is playing in the King. There is no saving the King, so he cannot. If he physically cannot.
Have you ever thought
the Kings would be better if they got more offensive rebounds?
Yeah, have you ever thought that maybe Zach LaVine doesn't just keep getting put into bad situations, but instead he's contributing to the situation being bad?
No, I think if you're a shooting guard that never plays with like a team that actually has a roster that fits each other, they're always trying to put another shooting guard next to him. Like he's been playing with DeMar DeRozan for such a long time, and that's just a terrible fit.
Andrew Wiggins, great teammates.
Also, that's a very nasty theory, right? I don't know what it's called, but like just because I flip a coin 5 times in a row and it lands on heads, but that doesn't then mean that the coin is weighted or something. It's just coincidental, but every single time was a 50-50 chance every single time. There is no changing in probability. And so
gambler's fallacy.
Zach LaVine going to bad teams does not mean he's then contributing to bad teams. Like he can still be a good player,
especially when you have DeMar DeRozan
1 in 1,000 chance right now.
But
we've seen Zach LaVine be on a good team though. Like that 22 team with Caruso and LaVine, they just got injured at that. They're like a good team though. He was.
Wouldn't you just say he's a basketball player who's very flawed, who can't elevate bad units to like that high of a degree? So just both. Like him being that limited as a passer and a defender hurts the fact that teams now have to build around that offensively or defensively slanted regardless because he's that flawed. But then also the teams around him aren't equipped to fit his flaws as a player, so just both.
I think every team needs to have all of these things.
A lot of this is just circumstantial because like I can say if you put Clay in a lot of these situations, these like you know what I'm saying? Like these situations aren't getting better, but Clay is like
what situation did Zach LaVine underperform in? What situation should he play better in at this degree, which would have elevated
this one right now? But
he should be playing better this season, in my opinion.
I got a question. Would you guys rather have a prime Harden or prime Clay on your team? If you're building a team.
Prime Harden.
Harden very easily.
Harden's not bad.
I'd rather have Harden today than prime Clay.
Yes, I agree. I think the gap is so big.
Any of the last 13 years of Harden are better.
Is there teams that would rather have Clay? It may be in.
Yeah, but Harden, even with ball dominant players like Chris Paul, is still better than Clay.
It's not going to be maximized.
Yeah, that's another thing that's scaling down. I remember those talks about there's only one basketball in Houston, and then he went to Brooklyn and like just became a point guard, and like he became a point guard later.
But
scaling down. Let me ask the nasty question: Is Clay undoubtedly a better shooter than Harden? Even
yes.
No.
Yeah.
We don't even have.
See, this is the thing, right? Because
people care about self-creation.
Harden is one of the greatest shooters of all time.
Doesn't matter.
And I'm high on the self-creation thing. But then someone put out a tweet saying Luka shoot better than Clay, and I was like,
he's not even
probably how I sound when I say James Harden shoots better than Clay. Because like, I get it, self-creation, step backs, degree of difficulty, all that stuff. But at some point, like we just gotta acknowledge that like Clay like just didn't miss for a while. Like he just wasn't missing.
And then he didn't make for a
very
while.
difficult shots.
Yeah, but we're not talking about this washed up Clay. We're not talking about that.
Yeah,
But
like,
even
even in
when
his
Cleveland
prime, he's
is
going
best, he
like
has.
he was
He
going.
was
I would listen to
10
James Harden over Clay as a shooter. I would listen. To
I'd
him.
listen to it for sure. I just don't think it's a gap, especially because Klay Thompson can't self-create like at all. Like,
But I'm just not as high.
it's not even like Ray Allen. Like if he was Ray Allen, I can understand. He can at least put the ball on the floor a little bit. Klay can't like at all.
But both are very
Clay used to
streaky.
get
That's
some
the
mid-range
point.
clip.
Both
Like, he
are
can do
very.
it with
but
Clay
but
is very
we're
streaky.
looking. Y'all are looking at it like, oh, Clay doesn't and can't shoot like the Harden shots, but Harden doesn't shoot open shots like Clay.
I think Harden could do Clay's role better than.
I mean, I could
Harden's
check the
role.
numbers. I'm fairly confident that James Harden's wide open numbers are quite good.
I mean,
But
no, the
James
wide open
Thompson,
numbers,
that's
but
what I'm
like
saying.
James Harden
He's
shooting like
not-
0.8
They might-
catch and shoot threes.
The
Harden's
volume
not
might
doing
not
that.
be, but
No,
the
I
accuracy
checked.
might be
It's
similar.
like 0.6 catch and shoot threes a game.
But even those, but those,
Yeah, the
are
volume is
actually-
not going to be there. But
It doesn't
They're not the same.
percentages might be there.
Plays like hitting movement shots coming off the screens left to right.
yeah, Clay's
it's-
degree of
it's
difficulty
way-
is
it's
elite.
different shots. Like,
Yeah, where's
Clay better shooter
Harden
than Ray Allen?
flying off a pin down and catching it and not
Yeah,
stopping.
people do understate like the ability to shoot like movement
on the move, running full speed. That's hard as hell. I like
you're turning your hips.
Clay was
squares
shooting
across the
bullshit
basket,
goals, so
like,
that's what I know.
Another
that's
thing,
not-
I think that James Harden can also do it on the move.
Not like
James
I
Harden
think
in
we- I
2019
I think when we
shot
get it
47%
this
on
level
wide open
player.
threes. Interesting.
When have we ever seen that though?
Meanwhile,
Vince
Clay
can
shot
do that.
39%. Interesting. Interesting.
What year?
2019.
Nah, that's Wash Clay. U6 and U6.
Yeah, that's why.
2019 is Wash Clay.
Nah,
how
man,
you
that's
see
Wash Clay, bro. He broke his
No,
leg.
that's
He broke his
16.
leg. Impending doom.
2019.
2016 Clay. Okay, we'll do
2019
2016.
Clay not his best season.
Use 2016 Clay.
17 and
Use
18.
26.
Whichever
No, use
one's
2016
best.
Harden as well. 16 Harden, man.
16.
Okay.
Oh, so we gotta use non-peak hard. Okay.
No, bro.
2016 Clay, 40% on wide open threes. James Harden, 38.1, and that's 2016.
Mars.
So-
can I-
Very
I'm
close.
Play better.
That's a whole
Very
lot,
close.
bro.
Play better.
2%?
Yo, is there a stat that tracks relative true production?
Relative true, huh?
Rel-
Elaborate. Relative
Okay.
true PRA, is that what you're saying? Relative true
Yes,
PRA?
and the reason I say this, right, and this is
What is that?
no. Listen.
He's
The
he's
reason I-
taxing points per game, rebounds per game, and assists per game. He's
No,
taxing.
the reason I state this, right, or ask this question is because I know we talk about Jokic and
Oh, we had
all
a
the
$100
numbers.
super chat.
Yeah,
Yes,
this
we
is
did.
Jokic.
Sorry. Be
Yeah,
quiet.
he
Be
did.
quiet. Be quiet. Be quiet. Cheese said W show Jokic clears. I feel like we're obligated to talk about Jokic. So football, get off where you're about to go off, and then we're
So,
obligated to talk about Jokic.
I was just looking stuff up, right? And the reason I asked for relative true production is because
Oh, this would apply to Jokic. Actually, yeah, carry on.
yeah, that's why
That's why he's saying it. Duh.
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't put two and two together like that.
He's
No,
saying if
no,
LeBron
no.
played in this era, he'd have more triple doubles.
But I sincerely believe that because have you guys actually
I know.
have you guys actually looked at the triple double numbers over the years?
They go up every year.
No. In 09, I'm pretty sure, and I posted it to the Telegram a lot. In 09, I believe there was like 24 total triple doubles, right? If you remove Jokic's triple doubles from last year, there were like 111. And so what I'm saying is, I think there's aspects about how the game has grown, about the relative improvement of shooting amongst role players that have given each player who has somewhat of a role in playmaking 2 or 3 more assists just because the average player and role player is a better 3-point shooter. I think there's aspects of basketball that we don't talk about in terms of production because I don't know what the relative true production gap is.
It's stat inflation. It's called stat inflation.
I know it's called
Well, I like
inflation.
relative true production. I like
But I think relative true production needs to be tracked because if I just go look at the triple doubles, one could infer that the relative true production of a Jokic is not as impressive concerning how many other players are getting triple doubles throughout the league that I don't think will get triple doubles.
But he's still getting more than everybody now.
No, I understand, but he's still not getting a.
It's less impressive. I can, but I also think how much of that increase is just Jokic, Westbrook, and maybe Harden and Luka. Like it's probably a very few players, and it probably shows a change in play style where we have a center who gets a lot of assists and a point guard who get a lot of rebounds, and Luka, whatever you want to call him, either a power forward who gets assists or point guards that get rebounds, and Harden who's kind of a defensive four that also gets assists because he's an offensive one. What?
I just think that at least for the top tier playmakers of all time, when you compare them between eras, that needs to be taken into account a bit more, considering how much the rate of triple doubles is jumped in like 10 to 15 years. Like Jokic is not making.
Oh my goodness! I have lived to see the day where LeBron fans hate PRA.
Real talk.
I cannot believe we're here.
Real talk.
Bro, no. LeBron fans, y'all know what y'all did.
No, I'm
back
not
in the
doing
2000s.
this.
We're not gonna act oblivious, and now here you are, mad football, because there's a guy out here getting triple doubles, and they're using look at the triple doubles as the reason of why he's better. So guess what? Deal with it, my good brother.
That's pretty serious, though.
Jokic averages 30, 12, and 13.
I'm not saying they're fraudulent. I'm not saying you're fraudulent. I'm just saying when debating all-time grades, I think it's just adding proper context. I'm like, bro, the other night, Wemby and someone else got a triple-double in the same game. I just don't think that's happening 10 years ago. Regardless, even if their skill sets were the same, if you dropped them on the prototypical team 10 to 15 years ago, they're not getting that triple-double. That's all I'm saying. It doesn't make them any less or better of a player.
Because there's more possessions.
I agree.
Faster game.
I mean,
that's all I'm saying.
Understand that shooting leads in space, leads in pace.
Also,
more possessions, etc.
Also, we're doing more and more. Give the ball your best player now, so Giannis can give 12 plus assists. When back in the day, he's getting 4 assists because he can't pass the way he can now.
Also, every fan base uses PRA when it's to their benefit.
I mean, not the Draymond fan base. We don't.
I mean, you gotta push propaganda.
When Draymond had 37,
you should use 5.5.
They can have.
When Draymond's able to be and score 25, best believe they're using that.
Yeah, hell yeah, but not this guy.
Shout out Nicholas Batum. Shout out
Jordan would definitely average 40 today. I'm convinced.
And how many minutes?
Whatever. If he was on a bad team and was just gunning, he would average 40. Like
how many minutes?
40.
Huh?
How many minutes?
How many minutes? I don't know. I'm not like.
That seems like a pretty
Hold on. I want to say
average 40.
Jordan shot 28 shots a game and 12 free throws a game. How many is he shooting in a 2 days game?
Per minute.
I don't know.
How many is Luka shooting right now?
He's shooting.
Are we turning down the stamina sliders?
I think he has the stamina to play that long. I just don't think
I've been watching
the pace was higher back then. By the
way,
but they don't play like this.
I don't know, man.
Luka's taking 23 shots and 12 free throws a game.
We don't
that he would have improved a 3-point shooter.
We don't
Do you think he'd be better than
Jordan average 40 today conversation?
This is a great convo.
Not really. I mean, not really.
Okay. We know the hate. We see the hate.
I don't like this conversation.
I want to get back to. We haven't heard gentlemen in the car on the. We haven't heard.
What's going on? What's going on, fellas? Not much. I think this conversation when you talk about like the best player, I think there's a lot of nuance. But I break it down as far as how I view the better player. I just look at their skill set. I look at their abilities, and with that, how they contribute to winning, especially on a team aspect. And I just gauge it by that. For me, I think, and then on a role player aspect, like you was talking about Mike James and Draymond. I think, if Mike James is able to just impact the game just on a minimal level, just as a scorer. But Draymond can do so many other things. You can say that Draymond is the better player to me. To me, you know what I'm saying? I think. I also believe floor raising, ceiling raising has a lot to do with it too. I think if you are able to be a good, solid floor raiser, but at the same time you're able to be a better ceiling raiser, or at least good enough to where you can adapt to other players to win championships, or put your team in an opportunity to win championships. I think that's also make you a more impactful player and make you a better player. I.e., Steph Curry and can't think of Russ, right? I think Steph is a better ceiling raiser. To me, that makes him, even though Russ is a great floor raiser, but when you're talking about winning on a team aspect and being able to impact winning, I think Steph impact winning more.
Can I ask a
And I
question
think
here?
uh-huh.
I just wanted to ask you a question, but go finish first. Finish first.
No, you go ahead.
No, I want to ask, in terms of floor raising, why do we always just assume if you're not the first option, you will not get any opportunities? Like, what happens to second options? It usually takes more than one to floor raise a team to championship level. So
that's why I say so that's why I say ceiling raising to me. Ceiling raising, makes it, because more than likely, if you have to floor raise, you don't have a good enough team to really win. But if you're able to take them to heights that a lot of other guys can't really take them, then that, to me, also it brings value. But to me, ceiling raiser is more important, because now you're on a team that's talented and you're able to, your success rate raises. You know what I'm saying? So
no, my question is, what if you can floor raise as a second option enough to make the team a championship team?
But I don't think that's what floor raising.
Yeah.
Like when you say floor raising, it's like no matter who my teammates are. Like if I have
then it's raising.
So I got a team full of
they're not already good enough to win, but they're not a trash team that you will be the first option and just barely go by, like the 17 Thunder or the 16 Warriors. There's a space between where you can be a second option, and the team without you wouldn't be a contender, but with you, they're like first or second contenders.
People just call that ceiling grazing for the most part.
Yeah,
if you're a floor raising, you don't really have a second option that's really contributing too much.
Yeah, but what if you can go to another team, be a second option, and make them a contender? Like the Jaylen Brown conversation. Okay, if Jaylen Brown was not on the Celtics, they are not a championship team. So now we're talking about Jason Tatum as a floor raiser. But what if Jason Tatum goes to another team and becomes a ceiling raiser as a second option, or Jaylen Brown, or anybody who's a first option on a bad team? I'm not talking about the Kyle Kuzmas and Cam Thomases. I'm talking about guys that can actually play within a scheme, like Jaylen Brown, because he is a good, he's good enough. He's not Kyle Kuzma.
I just don't think that's floor raising.
Right.
Most people don't call that floor raising. If you're raising any team at championship levels, it's just ceiling raising. If you're taking a team which is very deficient in many areas and you're making them at least baseline somewhere, Russ is giving you this much scoring and this much passing because he's this good of a player, no matter who's around him, even if it might be G League level guys around him, he can do this. But then the year prior, when he has Kevin Durant and he has one of the better defenses in the league, we just call that ceiling raising.
Yeah, but when KD and Russ,
what did LeBron do in 09?
No, I'll
floor raising a team to a championship level.
Ceiling raising.
I want
because they're I think
perfectly separated, because for me, I think it's one and the same. If you're ceiling raising or floor raising, and vice versa. I think he's doing both.
I think ceiling raising is if we have good players around me, we can get here. This is the top we could get if we just get the best players we could around me. The 2016 Warriors, where Draymond is ceiling raising them because you get Steph and Clay and so on. And then you have the floor raisers, which is okay, you give me trash teammates. So these are the Russell Westbrook 2017 or the best floor raiser ever, LeBron James, where we give him the 2018 Cavs or we give him the 2009 Cavs, and LeBron is like, because he is so good at it. It's like, even if he has these bad, and this is probably more because they're bad offensive teammates, so he's floor raising the offense to a championship level, like Allen Iverson in 01, where he's floor raising the offense. So I think that's like, okay, we have these bad offensive players around me, and I'm raising the floor of what an offense can be, even if you give me bad players. But if it's your ceiling,
you would think that you think that peak Draymond or like Draymond Green is better than like Allen Iverson.
I think I said that, didn't I?
You did say that.
You said Russ.
Yes.
2 weeks ago.
Russ
You said Jason Tatum too. I remember.
Do you guys
You did say
You said Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, Dwight Howard. I remember.
Yeah, we
Jason Kidd, Russell Westbrook.
Yep.
Do you guys think ceiling raisers are always better than floor raisers? Is that your opinion?
Yes.
No, not necessarily.
That's way too binary.
If you're the same role, yes.
I also think you can be both.
Yeah, exactly. Another thing
I think you can be
both.
both.
Say because like no,
I think LeBron and I was doing both.
Raiser or pure floor raiser, but like generally speaking, since we're talking about this whole stream is about like winning and such, and what is a good player. I want to ask, like, do you guys generally think that do you think a ceiling raiser is always better than a floor raiser? I see it a lot online where people will say, I'm trying to think of it. People will say Draymond is better than someone like AI or Russell Westbrook because Draymond contributes more to winning as a ceiling raiser than AI or Russell Westbrook as floor raisers. So that's what I'm asking that question right now. I disagree. I think floor raising is always better than ceiling raising.
As the guy who said it, can I maybe explain where some of the thought process come from? I think one very important thing is that everyone means different things when they say this player is better than this player. So maybe you and me in the bottom corner think the exact same about Draymond Green and Russell Westbrook as players, but you just mean something different when you say the word better, and I mean something different. And so it's not even like it might be I'm thinking more. I think I said on a random team, Draymond Green gives you more extra odds of winning a championship than Russell Westbrook and Allen Iverson and so on. And maybe that's wrong. Like,
do you not see the inherent bias?
No.
I'm
Let
me tell you.
We're going to argue Draymond every day.
Let me tell you why it's inherent bias in that.
Who don't lie is the Draymond Green show.
We are the Draymond.
I'm not trying to bring up Draymond. People are asking.
Hey, we're here now.
I'm not gonna lie. We're about to get to the point where is Russell better third option than Draymond, and then we're gonna argue it just like
no. That's not even. That's not
better player and like a more value to a team. Or when I think of it, for me, the better player is the most skilled guy and most physically dominant player. But if we're talking about value, like who's going to contribute more to winning in this particular context, that's a different thing. Because Draymond might be. I think Russell Westbrook is better than Draymond, but like of course there are contexts where Draymond's a better fit for a team. He adds more value than Russell Westbrook. So when I say better player, I don't mean like who scores better, who defends better, who's more physically dominant, who's more skilled. And then value is a different thing.
I think that's where we can think the exact same about the two basketball players. And I just want to say one thing to real talk. I think when I said it, it became so extreme that I am listing every player. Like, that's not what I'm doing. In a sense, I'm just thinking of Draymond. I'm just trying to think of Draymond in context that is with Steph, but I'm also trying to think of him in these other contexts. And I'm like, okay, how good of a championship team do I think this is? I'm not actually writing down every team it could be on, writing down the roster and then adding Draymond. Like, it's more a frame of mind. And if you disagree with that frame, that's fine.
This is what I mean by that statement. I'm getting to a point where I am now understanding we have really made some simple shit hard for no reason. We like adding all these
trying to tell you, bro,
nuances and stuff, but it makes us make these concessions that we're not even noticing we're making. So when you make Draymond Green can elevate a good team better than AI can elevate a good team. But what that shows is an inherent bias to, well, the good team is also good enough to be good enough around you to make you look good on the side of the floor. You're not. Draymond Green it was good enough, the good enough offensive player to make Draymond Green passable and effective offensively was Steph Curry. So what I'm saying is, if let's give
and Klay
Allen
Thompson.
Iverson,
But that doesn't mean Steph is the only one who could have done that.
Oh no,
Because why can't you play next to like a Bradley Beal?
But this is what I'm saying though. This is what I'm saying. We don't ever give the concessions to, like, okay, what if not only you put Allen Iverson on a good team, because that's very vague. It's general. Put Allen Iverson on a good team that enhances what he does well and minimizes what he doesn't as well. That complements him just as much as Steph Curry is complimenting Draymond Green. We give that concession to the lesser player.
Like what? For example, what if you put Allen Iverson and just swapped him with Tony Parker?
So I think the Spurs are like the one team I think for AI because their offense isn't very good. I think my point is, I think my Allen Iverson thought is like there's two things here. I think Draymond is better on offense than Real Talk thinks because I think he has more than Real Talk. It's not just Steph Curry around him that makes him this level of player. And
worse than AI.
like I think you could put him on the other good teams in 2016 and he'd be really good. The other thing I'll say, let's look at the Spurs. I think the Spurs is like the one team where I'm like, okay, yeah, AI makes that team maybe a lot better because their offense sucked. The problem with that is, like, if we put him on the other good team, like, so he gets points for that, points to AI for that, and Draymond gets points for the Warriors, and he gets points for the other team. I also want to say you also have to make concession on defense for AI. And the other thing I want to say is, I think the Denver sample is maybe what's screwing me up. Like I'm looking at him in Denver, and I'm like, he's not making their offense better.
The point against for AI in Denver is that Melo is not the player.
Team?
They're a really
no. I'm saying their offense does not become better.
No. Because again, I'm saying
really
put him in a situation where we know that Allen Iverson is a bad defender.
Didn't I just concede that
on a great defensive team? That's what I'm
saying.
saying.
And real quick, what did I say? What did I say about the Spurs? Real talk, what did I say about the Spurs?
They were the 11th.
What did I say about the Spurs?
What about Spurs?
What did I say? I just said something about the Spurs. Did you listen?
AI would win in that context, but I disagree with you. My point, my pushback is that like it's not just the Spurs. Like AI could win on any team with like big wings, defensive wings that can space the floor. Like you can get a top seed and get.
Well, how many had that in the 2000s?
Marion,
the Spurs.
Ron.
He's not winning on any Suns.
I agree. The Suns had that. I agree. The Suns had that.
Yeah. If you put AI on the Suns, do you think they replicate a high level success? Are they a perennial contender?
I think they just play Steve Nash.
I don't think they'd be as good as if Nash led them, but I still think they'd be.
Well, I think most of us agree Nash is a better player, but I'm asking if I give him one of the best possible environments. What are the results of an AI-led team?
But then they'll just suck on defense.
Is this actually the best environment?
It doesn't need to be an AI-led team because we're comparing him to Draymond, who ain't like respectfully.
I think the other team.
That is the point I'm trying to make, guys.
Like he doesn't need to.
Yeah, Mars. This response by Mars is what I was trying to get at earlier. Yes, like. If you look at every team that doesn't have anybody and needs floor raising, yeah. But what if we're talking about a team that already has a star, like two teams that have a floor raiser? What if we put them next to each other? Like for example, what if we have like Jason Kidd and we paired him with Melo, or we have Allen Iverson and we paired him with like
KG,
KG for example. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like we have two floor raisers. You can get them together and they can win. You don't have to put
I think KG's the ceiling raiser, but okay.
I think he's both.
He can be
but they can win is what I'm saying.
People are raising 04 and he's ceiling raising.
They just do both. Yeah.
They do
both.
I agree.
They can upscale their play, they can downscale it, they can well, that leads to an argument of like versatility, which I think
What?
me and Mars probably both land there as far as that's the basis. Because I want to start coming up with like some things that we do agree on as far as grading a basketball player. What are some fundamental things that we are looking at a basketball player, not an NBA player, a basketball player? Bless you. What do you think are some fundamental things that makes a player good?
Ability to put ball in the hoop.
The only thing
Advantage
we'll agree
creation
on
is
is
my
that
number
we'll
one thing.
agree
I
on
think that's the
nothing.
most
That's
valuable thing.
for sure.
What's the most valuable thing?
Advantage
I
creation.
think advantage
I was about to
creation
say
on
advantage
offense and
right?
advantage mitigation on defense.
So offense is the first one. Second one.
Yeah, I just think maximizing the
Explain.
team on both ends.
Um,
Period.
Explain what?
Your two rhyming words you just used.
Okay. Well, advantage creation is the most valuable thing on offense because I think offense is always going to be about creating advantages. That's what every team is striving to do, whether that's schematically or having a player who inherently creates advantages. If you have a player who is a walking advantage, I think 2019 James Harden, the fact that teams would come out blitzing him at half court means that you've already started the game with an advantage. Just having him out there means you've started the game with an advantage. And every offense is striving to create that advantage within the 24 seconds. So I think that's the most valuable thing that anyone can do on offense, create an advantage. On defense, advantage mitigation, that can come in a multitude of ways, whether it's the Draymond Green effect, where he can see things before they happen, so he's rotating early, so that any advantage that may show up, he's already plugged it up, which means there's no longer an advantage, and teams still have to work to find another one. Or you're an elite on-ball defender who doesn't give up dribble penetration, doesn't get beat off the bounce, can navigate a screen, so the pick and roll doesn't create an advantage, isolation doesn't create an advantage, all of those things, because on offense, if you're trying to create an advantage, the defense is trying not to give you an advantage. So I think those are the two, from an individual standpoint, those are the two most important things. On offense, can you create them? On defense, can you stop the other team from creating them? If you do both of those things at an elite level, you're probably one of the best players ever. That's why I look at like a guy like Michael Jordan who could play free safety on defense, get all of these deflections, make help side plays at the rim, defend in isolation at a high level, and then on offense was like the clearest walking advantage in the NBA. Was the best player in the league. LeBron James, similar. Like Steve Nash on offense, his pick and roll stuff was such an advantage for his team. One of the best offensive players ever. Steph Curry, one of the best offensive players ever. So yeah, those are the two most important things, and then everything else will start.
I have a question,
on top of
Mars.
that, but that's the foundation. Yes.
I have a question. So based on those like two like that logic, Russell Westbrook and Draymond, did Russ create more advantages than Draymond mitigated?
Yes.
Yes, I would say so. I think because I think offense is just, it's easier to create an advantage on offense as an individual than it is for a defender individually to stop the advantage once it's happened.
And then the flip question of that is, did Draymond create more on offense than Russ bled on defense? If Russ was ever actually bad on defense from 2012,
he was bad on
well,
defense.
I don't think
Russ is not bad.
Prime Draymond Green, I don't think bled as much. So I guess I'm closer with Yama on that one. I don't think Draymond Green was as bad offensively in his prime as other people do.
So pre-KD? I think with KD got
pre-KD, so like the couple years. So when he got the starting job from David
16.
Lee, and then 2016, particularly 2016, I don't think he was as bad on offense. I do think he was limited.
He's a good offensive player.
You guys think Russ is a bad?
Good. I think he looked good because of the situation, but I think he was cool. Like, I think Draymond Green was a valuable offensive piece because of the playmaking stuff. The fact that he could dribble the ball as a 4-man, 5-man, whatever, initiate offense. All of that stuff was valuable. Could space the floor, especially for his position. So he was valuable, but he wasn't great. Russell Westbrook on defense,
yeah, but like
definitely wasn't the greatest. I did like some of like his playmaking, deflections and stuff. And when he was dialed in, he could make plays. But I would probably say Draymond was.
This is the thing. This is the thing where, like, again, we're looking at Draymond in the pristine offensive.
Before 2017, Russ was good defensively.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think you stopped having Russ be a good defender by like
13.
Yeah, 13.
Yeah, 13-ish.
Okay, how about playoff runs though? And what playoff run did he actually bleed Valley on defense? Like he was bad.
Versus the Warriors.
Bleed Valley,
okay, not bleed, like neutral. Like I think he was positive in every series he played from 2012 through
But
16.
I think 16 was the Warriors. He probably bled some value points.
I think that would be opponent dependent based on like how many teams had like movement heavy schemes.
That's fair.
But yeah, I think Russ probably stopped being a clear positive on clear is a stretch. I think Russ stopped being like more than a neutral, like clearly more than a neutral by like 2014ish. But then everything else after that he was cool. Like 2016, I think was a good regular season for him on defense. The playoffs wasn't great.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He was cool.
He had the defensive tools. He had the tools.
For sure had the defensive tools. And then everything after 2017, yeah, I'm not as new. Like every star season after from 2017 doesn't really matter.
And then 23.
I do think the rebounding provided value for what it's worth.
Yes.
I understand the uncontested rebounds and all that, whatever. I still think being the best rebounding guard in the league provided value. So
He had a good one versus the Warriors. I have it tracked. He had a good one.
He had good defensive numbers or offensive numbers?
No, I mean he had a good like rebound. I have it in my notes that he had a good rebound versus Draymond.
Rest Draymond.
That is really specific.
Okay, so we got.
So we all agree on advantage creation. Right?
Well, I don't know if everyone agrees that's the most important thing, but I think everyone agrees it matters.
I think it's also everyone creates advantages in a lot of ways. I think it's also one of the things is that it's also relative.
I think there's levels to advantages as well. Like the fact that Steve Nash
if you're able to create an advantage that creates a layup, I think that's the most valuable advantage you can create.
Or an N1. That would be
How about a free throw?
Creating an M1 is based on your teammate being able to finish off again fouled. But if you're able to create a layup, I think that's the most valuable thing you can do.
Is that better than foul baiting?
Well, I have no problem.
It depends
if you're able to draw fouls at a high level, I think that's always going to be good. So
I mean, yeah, because that's what the second most efficient shot in basketball.
Yeah, I love foul baiters. I'll never be shamed into believing that foul baiters are bad.
And it's
for like Shea.
It's bad when they're not.
It comes down to an entertainment thing. It comes down to an entertainment.
Yeah, and
for those is only a matter of
it's not fun to watch, but the effectiveness I don't think can be denied. So
what about in the playoffs when they just don't give you those calls?
That's a myth.
I always find that to be slightly mythological. Like
who's getting less free throws?
I guess, but it's like I'm watching Embiid get to the line 10 times a game in the playoffs. I'm watching James Harden get to the line. Like these guys are still getting to the free throw line. So
they get into the line.
Maybe it's not as much as the regular season, but it's still more than everyone else.
I mean, aren't there less possession in the playoffs also?
The pace is slower, but offenses are also less efficient, which means that even if you are getting less free throws, they become more valuable because offenses are less efficient. So like that stuff is like, yeah, I hear it, but at the same time, it's like James Harden's still getting to the line like 9-10 times a game. And he's still getting to the line. Shea got to the line, what, like 8 times a game in the playoffs last year? Like,
matches right.
When you're shooting 90% on them, that's 7 points a game. How many?
Yeah, that was great offense.
He shot 9.4. I underestimated him. 9.4 a game. Like that might have been more than he shot in the regular season. It was.
He shot like 10.
Now minutes tax. Like he also plays.
So we all agree on advantage creation. Can we talk about something else? Yeah,
I think I'm sure it's valuable at every level of basketball. I think we'd agree.
Not making mistakes. Like Chris Paul's ability to not turn the ball over, Shay's ability to not turn the ball over, not making the most risky mistakes and capitalizing on the passes or the shots that you take, not taking bad shots, being in the right position, putting a screen in the right position as well. I think it's IQ, but then I also think it's talent. Some people don't know how to throw an accurate pass no matter how hard you train. Jaylen Brown's been practicing that handle for like 7 years and it's still, not shake. Brown's been a mediocre free throw shooter his whole career. I'm sure he's shot thousands upon thousands of free throws. I think at a certain point is your talent hits a cap. So I do think it's part talent still.
I like what dude with the cam on said earlier, which is physical dominance.
Great.
Like more times than not, the reason why some of these players are like some of the more upper echelon players, they have something to them physically, right? Even Allen Iverson, as small as he was like the quickest player in the league. He was the fastest player in the league. Russell Westbrook is built like a little Hulk at 6'4", and he's explosive and he's fast. And LeBron is LeBron, right? Michael Jordan.
Wemby.
Wemby, Shaq. Like these are some.
Anthony
I mean,
Edwards.
Shea might be getting in just with his movement. Like,
Yeah, Shea's movement patterns are like unique. It's like soft athleticism. It's a different type of athleticism, but yeah. Like
Anthony
Jokic's
Edwards is a
strength
big one.
is another one.
If you watch Anthony Edwards, he's not even a good passer to me, but that nigga's like just ability to like garner so much attention because he's like blowing by people. And even when he's like walled up, he's strong enough to like. I watched him bully KCP for like 2 series straight. Like he's just.
I don't like how
I don't even think Anthony Edwards is that good of a finisher, but he's able to get into the paint so often that like it ultimately doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, it's like getting to the free throw line, even though you're not a great free throw shooter.
Real Talk was saying that like players that's I like guards like Ant and like Donovan Mitchell and Russ. These guys that can impose their will on the court and will themselves to the rim, even if they're not efficient. The fact that you can generate rim pressure like that, like it just creates a lot of advantages in like driving kicks and stuff like that. I just value those type of players with a lot of like rim pressure and stuff like that.
I think another one is knowing how to play. I think we talked about it with Boogie yesterday on the panel, right? Like he could do all of these things, but he doesn't know how to do it. So do it the right way at the right time, and I think that's probably
wrong about that though. Respect, like
who was wrong about what?
No, Boogie on offense. By the time we got to like 2016 forward, that brother was special on offense. Not gonna lie.
18 Boogie.
I'm not as high on Boogie as
well, I want to ask: was Boogie
the turnovers were good, bro?
Was Boogie a better offensive player than Cat at his best?
No,
I don't think so because of the turnovers and inefficiency.
Then who?
Well, I mean, Cat struggles with turnovers too, but
I do, but DeMar
is a 1,000% a better offensive player than Cat.
Is Cat playing the 5 on the floor?
I disagree.
I think Cat at the 5. I think Cat at the 5 is probably a better offensive player.
Yeah, but, I agree.
Cat at the 4.
But I'm lower on Boogie. I guess I'm probably the wrong person to ask when it comes to him.
I used to be very high on Boogie. So.
I don't see what you guys see when it comes to Boogie.
I think that clears him. I mean,
he's one of those guys where the hypothetical Boogie is better than real life Boogie.
In theory,
Boogie in theory is a lot better than what I watched. I'll say theory, but
man, y'all, this is like, bro, because y'all be watching what y'all want to watch. That's the thing. Because you know what else? And guess what? You know what I saw too? 40, 20, and 8. I saw those a lot. I saw 35, 15, and 7 a lot. I saw
Did it catch up 50?
Yeah, Real Talk said it like half an hour ago. People use PRA when it benefits them.
With 25 turnovers?
What he do?
With 25 turnovers?
That's true, though.
Yeah, I'm not gonna ignore production. Yes, we have to
Cat drove 50.
Bro,
sometimes the production is an impact.
Act like those nights weren't happening. I'm watching him and AD with these putting up cartoonish numbers. 40,
I don't think anyone's questioned that.
Cat has dropped 60 before.
Amazing
what are you
games.
talking about?
Then Cat has 6 and like
Boogie was a good player. I don't think. I'm not arguing Boogie's not a good player. I just don't see.
He's a better passer than Cat. I think he's a better scorer than Cat.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just not as high on Boogie. Like I don't even agree with that. So like, I don't.
Real Talk doesn't matter to you at all.
If Cat could only shoot the 3, he will still be better than Boogie, by the way.
Okay, now that's
saying Miles Turner better than Boogie. So like, he got it. But like, I stay out of Boogie conversations for a reason because I just don't see what you guys see. I just don't. So cool.
Real Talk.
I think I agree.
Real Talk. Does it matter to you at all that almost right after DeMarcus got hurt, the Pelicans just took off?
No.
Is that at least a level of point? Like
what? They got eliminated.
Okay, so
but they still lost. Took off to
the Warriors.
They took off to an L. They took off.
Wait. They swept the Blazers. They swept the Blazers now that they didn't have DeMarcus Cousins on the floor. Now you don't have another defensive liability on the floor.
But that doesn't mean they lose with DeMarcus.
Exactly.
Maybe, but maybe it goes 5 or 6.
Doesn't mean they beat the Portland team without him.
It doesn't mean they sweep them. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't mean they sweep them.
They swept. You think Boogie on the floor is the difference between a sweep and a loss? Are you serious?
Then you guys are just arguing that he's genuinely a clear
No, I don't
negative.
think. No, I don't think he's
arguing that he's a terrible player. Then
that's more than a negative. That's one of the worst players in the league.
No. I think
a
that
sweep
has
and a
enough
sweep to a loss.
as
You
a
know how big of a
basketball.
sweep
That's
think
one
he
of
has
the
enough
worst players
flaws.
in the league. You know how big of a margin that is?
No, I don't. No.
You
I'm not arguing that. I'm saying that you might lose another game.
that
because
margin
Boogie-
depends, though.
Yeah.
No,
might
like
lose
for
all
example,
That
if,
series, that's a big margin. I'll say that.
But I think it's also
That's a
like
huge
they just
margin.
changed how they played with him. Without
And it
him, I
wasn't even
think
close.
they
They're
put 80
blowing
more
them
to
out in that
5.
series.
Just because a player is injured and the team performs well doesn't mean that they're better without that injured player.
AD closed
No.
that
We
series
got a lot
with
with John
47. I
Morant.
forgot
John
that.
Morant would get injured.
I agree with
AD
you
is
on
a very
that, but
underrated
I do
playoff
think
player.
it's an important data point. I do think it's a little concerning.
No, the thing is, it could be team variance. It could be team variance.
For sure.
There's a lot of factors that lead to that.
I mean, but even still, though,
No, because
I'll
what I'm
say
saying
this,
in
I'll
that
say this.
series,
even if they're better, quote unquote, without DeMarcus, because now AD's running more at the 5 and whatnot, just because that makes something better for Anthony Davis, still doesn't like diminish all of what DeMarcus Cousins is as an individual offensive player.
I agree with that.
Yeah. For fantasy players, yes, he was one of the best players in the league for fantasy players. I
also want to ask. I don't think Boogie's the greatest off-ball player. I also talked to him just a bit. I think Cat's gonna pierce him off the basketball.
We're talking about off-ball bigs, bro. Well, we got it.
Well, you gotta be off-ball
What?
a certain degree.
Why can't we talk about off-ball bigs?
We're good, bro.
What about off-ball bigs?
Especially for the
No, because I think especially on the ball,
like Boogie,
he's drawing a whole lot of turnovers.
We're talking about mid
because he's
2010s Boogie, who's the primary post that big. Like, I think we just have to admire these guys' strength.
Okay, but what about the other guys that are not primarily post up and are good off the ball? Can we not talk about that? Is that not allowed?
But what did Boogie do bad off the ball? Because he was a good catch and shoot 3-point shooter. He could roll. He's a great screener. Like, what are we talking about? Like, what did he do bad off the ball? Like,
I don't think
movement, being in the right place.
What does that mean?
Just like lateral quickness.
No, I mean actually moving to the right place. You're supposed that creates good plays for you on offense.
Mars is so petty, man.
Absolutely. I'll just speak for myself. My issue with Boogie stems from defensively. I don't think he was good. Offensively, I think.
Same, by the way.
Boogie could do a lot of things. He could beat guys off the dribble from the outside. He could post you up. He was strong. He could shoot jumpers. All of the rebounds really well. All of those things are true.
Pass.
Yeah, he could pass.
Shoot.
But he wasn't very good at those things. He just did them. Like, does that make sense? Like, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he could do a little jack of all trades, master of none type beat. He could do all of the things, but he wasn't very effective at doing those things. And that's my issue with Boogie. So it's like, when he had it all going and it was clicking, you've got a big who can make 3 threes. He's going to beat you off the dribble from the outside. He's going to get a couple post-ups and score. He's going to get offensive rebounds and putbacks. So the great games are like, oh my God, look at this monster. And then, sure, I'm with you. And then you get 10 years removed from the fact, and all people are going to remember is the good moments. But then I'm just there like, okay, we have a big who's shooting 55% at the rim. We have a big who's shooting 38% on mid-range jumpers. We have a big who was a cool 3-point shooter, but wasn't great. We have a big who could pass, but also was damn near leading the league in turnovers with 5 assists. We have a big who could block shots, but also couldn't defend without fouling consistently, wasn't much of a rim presence, couldn't move his feet on the outside. So it's like, yeah, when it was all clicking, cool. When it's not clicking,
never clicked.
Disgusting. And then on average, it was like
never clicked. See,
it clicked every 10 games. Like
I'm not
at that degree.
I'm just because the words I've said, that's the only things I'm believing. And I'm looking at Boogie, it's like, and I said it on Twitter earlier because someone asked me why do I think Boogie's rim numbers were so bad. And I gave a couple of reasons. And then I said I've never seen a big get blocked as much as Boogie did. And then he replied with a stat that I didn't know. You know, from like 2015 to like 20 something. You know, Boogie got blocked the most in the NBA.
I mean,
As
I'm
a
not.
big, that's
I'm
like
not
This
gonna
that's
is
like
say
this is the
unheard
anything.
of.
RJ Barrett conundrum.
He got
I mean, he had no
I don't know
vertical
when I don't know when
athleticism
I don't know when
whatsoever.
this
He
was
didn't have
from,
vertical pop.
but the stat said
Sure,
over the
didn't
past 5
block more
seasons,
than Isaiah
over
Thomas.
it said over the past 5 seasons, Boogie's been blocked 499 times, which was the most in the
Mhm.
NBA. He got blocked 1.6 times. Yes, he got blocked 1.59 times a game. So when I said I'd never seen someone get blocked as much as him, I was talking amongst bigs. He was getting blocked more than everyone in the league. Like, so, and I'm watching Boogie and I'm like, okay, he's not the most explosive. So he's often trying to carve out space with his body and trying to dislodge defenders and find angles to finish. More often than not, that didn't work. Whether or not you like it or not, it didn't work. There's a reason he shot 56%.
He got the rebound back and put it back up, though.
Cool. He was on his Moses Malone time, and I could check the numbers for that, and I'll tell you, it still doesn't generate as much as you think. Then I would argue that his actual level of patience around the rim was something that he struggled with. Because he was so quick to try and lower his shoulder, dislodge a defender, and get a quick finish off. He reminds me of Karl Malone in that regard. Because they weren't the most explosive, they tried to finish with low angles and touch, and more often than not, it just didn't work. So he lacked a lot of patience. His ability to play out of double teams wasn't great. Then overall, his jump shot proficiency wasn't as good as the amount of jump shots he actually took. So you end up with this mediocre efficiency, high volume big, who also turns the ball over a ton because he wasn't great at playing through double teams, and his handle wasn't as functional as the highlights would suggest. So it's like when it clicks, you've got Boogie who is 40, 20, and 8 or whatever those games you were talking about, which I think anyone who watches Boogie's best games, oh my God, what do you do with this man? But then he's benefiting, in my opinion, from the fact that the Kings sucked. So no one's watching the games where it's not clicking. And that's not a knock to him. It's more of a knock to like our memories. If he's on a team that's contending year in, year out, you might remember the bad moments more often than not because you're actually watching the Kings. But when the Kings are winning 29 games, no one's watching the Kings. Like, we can call a spade a spade. Like, no one's going out their way to watch 40 Boogie games a year. They're not. So you're really and truly gonna remember most of the good moments, and the flaws kind of just get brushed aside as years go on, which is why I think he's remembered more favorably than he was. And I know no one up here is entertaining he's better than Jokic or Embiid. That was PC yesterday. Shout out to them. Or Anthony Davis.
You don't know what I think. No, I'm playing.
Say it.
Okay, so like I know none of us up here. I know none of us up here are saying those things, but the fact that I run a poll on Twitter, who peaked higher, Chris Webber or Boogie, and Boogie gets 48% of the votes.
It's Webber, 100%.
Like, I feel like something is being missed, and I think part of it is he's benefiting from the fact that his team sucks, so people actually didn't watch them that much.
I think he was saying a lot of this. I think people thought he was better than he was at the time. Like in 2016, people thought Boogie was better than he actually was. And when he got traded to the Pelicans, like it was him and AD was Hakeem and Ralph Sampson or whatever.
They were calling it.
Man, it looked good.
I get what you're saying,
He
Lawrence,
believed
but I
in
also
his
think like I also think when we do. Okay, so the question is, how many nights are you getting where he is maybe not like maxing out on these things, but he's doing all of these things relatively well, and then how many nights is it where he's doing all of these things relatively bad? When you throughout an 82 game sample size, right? Let's say he does, I don't know, 45 good games and what's that league? 37?
Yeah.
Bad?
If he
practice.
He played all 82. He
it's
played
like
80 games one time.
I know for a fact he did not play 45 good games a year.
This is.
But I think we can all admit none of us watched every game of Boogie's career. But what I will say is that where it averaged out was to about a neutral efficiency, high turnover, high usage big.
But he was league average efficiency
around
from 2015 to
2015 he was +1. 2016 he was -0.3, and then 2017 he was 0.9, and then the 48 games in 2018 he was +2.7. So that was cool. But I think in 2018, before he went down, I'm fairly certain he was leading the league in turnovers. I think.
Okay, but
as a center, by the way. This is as a center. This is as a center.
Very quick. So you can't just say for a big when you
I'm
also
doing that's
believe,
relative to the league. That's relative to the league.
yeah, but no, I'm saying, but you also believe what Mars said, and that he's like shooting these jumpers that he doesn't make. Well, he's not playing like a traditional big either. If he's also shooting jump shots like kind of regularly, and
He was
Boogie's
inefficient
shooting
at the rim as a
But he's
big.
not a traditional
that's
guard.
not the point. That's not the point. I'm saying what. Yes, as a big,
Yeah, he led
should
the
be
league in
more
turnovers in his
efficient.
48 games in 2018.
Yeah, got
Just wanted to let
as a big, he should be more efficient. Let's also mind you. Yeah, thank you, Max. There are other bigs that are filling up this category of strictly lob threats and
DeAndre
people that just
Jordans,
get,
Clint
you know what I'm saying,
Capellas.
inflating
Rudy
that
Gobert.
field goal percent, but whatever. On its face, a player that is league average efficiency or very much so somewhere around there, averaging 25 plus a night, that is seen as a positive score. In every era of basketball, that's seen as a positive score. Okay, so
Yeah,
can
but
I
he-
now? Because I think Boogie Cousins was a good scorer.
I wouldn't
Especially
argue.
in the context that
I agree.
when he was like most likely the only good scoring option in many of these
Yeah,
contests.
I'm not here trying to argue that Boogie Cousins was a bad player. I'm only saying in the context of what the discussions were this past week. Chris Webber, Jokic, best big in the league, like he'd be the best big in the league today. Like that type of stuff is what I'm pushing back against. Boogie himself was a good player. All of the positives that I outlined, the things he could do, are why he was good.
Yeah.
All of the drawbacks are why he wasn't that level, is what I'm saying. What other people are saying to put on top of what I'm saying, those are their words. They don't speak for me.
Okay.
Real talk. Do you think he was better than Anthony Davis when they played together?
No.
Okay.
Okay, can I say something about the like the better player checklist that we were trying to make earlier?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I think one of the things that are like underrated in rating players is basically disadvantaging the other team's advantages, like canceling out something that the other team is relying on. And some players do that on like either end. Some players do that on offense, and some do it on defense. On offense, for example, Stephen Curry is probably the best at that because the way you defend him is different than the way you play defense every night. So even if you're a great defensive team, the adjustments you make will end up making you probably less of a defensive team than you would have been in any other series. That's on offense. On the other end, and I think like we've seen a few games of it, but we've all seen it. The way Wembanyama makes people who are some of the best finishers in the league retreat, they don't even want to challenge. Like I've seen John Morant go on a 3-on-1 fast break. He has two teammates and he's running the fast break, and he retreated and turned it into a half-court situation. This was crazy. Wemby's rim deterrence is unheard of. No, I mean, like, regardless, but if you're going to make the best finishers in the league, the most fearless attackers, afraid to attack the rim, they're not even trying. It's not that they're trying and missing, or they're trying and getting blocked, or like they're trying to draw a foul and failing at it. They're not even trying. This is demoralizing. Like, this is more of a psychological thing. You can't play your game anymore. And I think that is very valuable on both ends.
Yeah, until I have
I agree. I think that would categorize as an advantage mitigation, but I agree.
I agree.
I
Until I have a player that can shoot the ball from 35 feet and hit 9 threes and shoot 2 of them over you, and then that doesn't matter anymore as much.
Real talk. I was just about to say that. I was going to say, Wemby's rim deterrence might be like all time, but that can end up hurting his team when he's like facing like a great 3-point shooting team. Like for example, if he faces like one day OKC get hot, right? If he faces that team and they go like 20 for 30 because they didn't attempt anything at the rim, isn't that inconsequently hurting your team?
Can't Wemby fix that up?
Well, I would say if they attempt nothing at the rim, regardless of the results, Wemby's played great defense.
And
Yeah,
but
it's on the
the
other guy.
overall team outcome would be less, no? Like
Yeah, they would
that's
lose
just
that game.
theoretically.
They would lose that game for sure.
I
But I would
think-
still say, based on the process, a team relying on 20 made threes because they're not going to the rim against Wemby would mean Wemby's impact was therefore felt. And I would say a larger sample size of a series, more often than not, shooting volatility, shooting variance would lead to some good outcomes for the Wemby-led defense.
Okay, like wouldn't pairing
Yeah,
Wemby
it was
with
just
like a better
interesting to me.
defensive backcourt like eliminate that possibility? Like the idea that you can just kill them from behind the arc. If like instead of like Stephon Castillo and Patrick,
You can't though. Most good threes are created by attacking though.
yeah, and also like I think it's just because like the perimeter defense for the San Antonio Spurs is not really that good, so that's why you can do that. Like if they had the guy that now to lock up with Steph Curry or something like that, like they wouldn't go off like that. Am I incorrect in this saying this? You guys
Would you just think that a team that can deny the rim would just be very exploitable to elite 3-point shooters?
I think that's what Steph always struggled with, right? It's always been great rim protection. He struggled with that against AD in the 23 run. Again, I think the success Boston had in.
Oh, he got booted. Fair.
Oh well, goodbye. I actually do want to read some super chats.
Oh.
So Yama getting packed up was beneficial for that. First super chat from Unlimited Z014 or Unlimited Z14 said, "You guys forget what Draymond was doing in the 2016 playoffs."
No, we don't.
That Portland series will never be forgotten.
I won't let anyone forget. I'll say that. Because anytime someone want to say Draymond without Steph, go straight to that Portland series, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Exactly.
Well, 16
they know it didn't happen too often because they remember that
Draymond Portland series is the same as the Steve Nash Maverick series for me. That's my go-to every time. Anytime Nash couldn't increase the scoring volume, 05 Mavs, I've seen it. So that's the same thing with Draymond Green. So I won't let anyone forget. I'll just put that out there at all. Draymond Green in 2016 was amazing. So was Clay. I think he led the playoffs in points that year. Cowboy Bob, who was up here, said, "What makes a better basketball player is how said player contributes to team winning. Being consistent helps, but your role needs to show that without that player, the team looks different. For example, Giannis, go New York, go." I don't think your team needs to fall off without you to show how good you are.
KD and Kobe, they had very elite units, or they had a very elite player next to them, which is why like their on-off splits aren't the craziest. Also, they're pretty plug and play, so they aren't this level of offensive engine or defensive engine to really sway a team so low or so high without them or with them.
I think both have shown that they're elite floor raisers, whether that be like KD 2014, Kobe 06, but they've also shown that they can play next to other people, whether that be Kobe with Shaq, KD with Steph, KD with James Harden. And then they've also shown that they can just be like ceiling raisers in the sense of they can be the best player in the team, but just raise the level of that whole team. And you know how much KD was hiding some of the flaws of those OKC players? Russ too. But like to the point where a team with that many flawed players, that much limited spacing in an era where spacing became more important, that's in part because of KD's skill set. And then also Russ's skill set as a playmaker and stuff hid some of KD's flaws. And like ultimately it came together and you got this duo was able to benefit each other to where the other three players ultimately weren't inconsequential, because ultimately they probably weren't going to ever win like that, or they weren't going to dominate like that. But it made it as close to inconsequential as possible, and that's because of those two's skill.
I got a hot take. I don't think they were wrong in letting Harden go and choosing Ibaka. They just never got that 3-and-D wing right. If they had an actual player that can really shoot and really guard, they would have been
in
all right.
If you do, let's say you do a signing trade with Harden, who would you have targeted?
Jeremy Lamb was meant to be that player, man. You guys sleep on Jeremy Lamb coming out of UConn.
Do you think there is that link?
I was a Jeremy Lamb fan. No, I was a Jeremy Lamb fan.
There you go. Yeah,
I was. I remember. He was cold in
2K13.
2K. He
Shout,
always been
shout
Yeah,
out Kevin
2K13.
Martin.
He's giving
He's
belt.
legend.
so underrated.
But
Yeah,
do you think
Klay
that wing
Thompson would have been
exists?
great on OKC, actually. Yeah,
Mm.
great pool. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck.
Well, I'm in the minority of people who think James Harden was already better than Russell Westbrook by that point. So I think it was a bad decision anyway. But
What
it's
do you
easy
think
for me
would
to
have
say
been a
that in
better
hindsight.
duo?
Luxury tax.
What do you think would have been
I
a
mean,
better
just pack
duo?
up Kendrick Perkins. But the better duo, I think
Now
James
you need
Harden
five.
and KD. I think James Harden and KD made more sense. And I think we were seeing that in Brooklyn. I know it was a different James Harden. I know that, but I think we were seeing like what it could have been.
They
in
made more
Brooklyn.
sense because they were better basketball players.
I agree.
Yeah.
But
if you
yeah,
believe
I think,
he's
I
better,
think,
yeah. If you, yeah, exactly.
yeah, which I do.
The Russ disrespect. Oh my god.
Russ is great. I just think James Harden was bad. Like,
Now it's disrespect.
I'm just really high on James Harden. I don't know what to
You
tell
are. You really are.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really high on James
Yeah,
Harden.
you really are.
Unlimited
Same tier as
Z,
Kobe, no?
I never said that. I
Yeah.
said I would listen to the conversation. Unlimited Z said if
You
AD
would
didn't have to
start
play
that
offense,
conversation. Be honest. Be honest. You wouldn't start it.
no, I wouldn't actually.
You would participate,
Depends on how I feel on the day. Yeah,
and on what side?
that also depends on how I feel on the
Nah.
day. That entirely depends on how I feel.
Regular
On the day.
season is a conversation.
I think
That's all I'm saying.
Kobe peaked higher. So if I'm not, I don't want to say trolling, but if I'm not trolling, outside of Kobe, but I feel there's a valid argument to be made for James Harden, and if I felt like it, I feel like I can make the argument. That's it.
I was thinking about this the other day about Harden. Could you argue that Harden was so good from offensively from 16 to like 19 that he effectively on ball was Steph and Draymond?
Yeah. Like,
could I argue because he could draw the two?
Mm-hmm.
And I can argue that if you left him one-on-one, he's making that he can beat his man so regularly, and then he's now in the advantage where he's either hitting the lob or hitting the corner pass or hitting the once he gets downhill.
You could argue
Real talk.
he's the greatest pick and roll operator of that decade. You could argue that.
Real talk, you don't even need to argue. You just need to show the clip of Ricky Rubio guarding him from behind. That's an advantage in and of itself. That's all you need, to be honest. Like
That's also
Harden,
a testament to Rudy Gobert's rim protection that Utah would even try that, by the way.
thanks. But Harden 100, like I hate it when people try to erase Harden from like history. Harden 100% is in these talks. Like he is in Steph talks. He is in Kobe talks. He's 100% in these talks.
If Harden is and Steph combined, like didn't he just peak offensively higher than Steph Curry? Like, can't we just say he peaked higher?
I don't know. Did he? You tell
me. You can make the argument.
I'm gonna jump out and just say yes. Like, yeah,
he is in these talks, man. I don't know what to say. He is.
If you think he peaked higher offensively, you think
I don't think these people are as clear gaps as other people do.
Not really.
I just think once you get to a certain level, like a lot of it's not just X player clears the other guy. Like, I just don't think that's true. I think an argument could be made that James Harden was the better offensive player. I think Steph was better, but I think you can make the argument that James was.
Most people would react.
Make the argument. The man who passes the sentence should swing the sword.
He averaged 36.
That's the argument. Okay.
He averaged 40.
That's a pretty good argument. That's a great argument.
Like Brooklyn James Harden, you can argue that is better than any offensive peak that Steph Curry ever had. Steph, point guard James Harden, yeah. He was.
Was he even better than Steph that year?
I was surprised when you cut off the range at 19, 2021. 2020,
yeah,
2020 was amazing too.
Game in Brooklyn when he was doing the point Harden, where he generated like 37 points, while only scoring like 7 points. Like point guard Harden, I think is underrated because that's probably like the best version of Harden, but no one talks about it because they view like Brooklyn as like the fall off for Harden
because he ripped his hammy. Sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. The point is James Harden's amazing, and I think James Harden peaked as high as some all-time greats isn't a disservice to those all-time greats. I think that's how high he peaked. That's really it. Same as a lot of the other guys I said. Brent Kaya said Bron isn't as good as Dre, but I watched 09 Bron recently and his tenacity was crazy. Also, I think his defensive on-off numbers were all-time great that year. I could check.
Is
Yeah,
it
something
crazy?
that does like
LeBron,
when
he
you
made
go
a
back and
negative
watch
0.1
some
defense.
older LeBron games, it's shocking because we've gotten so used to him as an older player, but like his motor defensively used to be pretty high, pretty consistently too.
Pretty high is under
Especially with the
It was a
Cavs, yeah. With the
great
Cavs
guard.
especially.
It was
His
yeah,
last
he
year
it was an
he
8-point
was really
swing.
playing defense, like for real. Hey,
I said
you-
I think there's an argument that was peak Bron. I don't know. Some people don't want to
Yeah,
hear it. Once
I was
again, I
gonna
think
say.
there's an
Just
argument that
peak
was peak Bron.
two-way Bron.
I
Yeah,
honestly
that's-
think
I think 09 might be his best year.
I
Yeah,
think
I mean,
his
that's-
first 2 MVP years is his peak.
Yeah, I've heard that that's like
that's
the
peak.
GOAT player. 09 LeBron, 010 LeBron.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the answer is for that, Bron. I think if he didn't hurt his elbow in 2010, I think it would be probably a
Yeah.
more popular opinion. Not saying it would be the unanimous or the consensus opinion, but I definitely think it has a strong horse in the race alongside Miami and then obviously second stint Cleveland. The fact that I can argue 3 peaks about a decade apart says a lot, but you know,
Yeah, that's why he's-
even 2020 could have an argument too.
Well, I just
2020 was
that would be an outside
Who's the league
argument.
gonna assist LeBron James? Magic Johnson with a 3-point shot. Sorry.
Nah, LeBron is
And
like
defense.
LeBron is like Ben Simmons with a slightly better shot. That's what he is.
Respect Ben
Cheese
Simmons?
said dub show. Jokic clears. Shout out to Cheese. Showing love to the show. Shout out to you. Cowboy Bob said Shea versus Giannis. OKC can win when Shea isn't playing in the fourth because they're already up 50. Team record is in his favor, but Giannis' team without Giannis isn't a playing team. Giannis contributes a lot more for his team to win. Go New York, go. So basically, floor raising versus ceiling raising argument.
Mhm.
How many people up here think Giannis is better than Shea? Just out of curiosity.
I think he's better.
I think he's better.
So
Shay's-
I think it's
same
1A,
tier, same
1A.
tier.
I think it's
Same
1A,
tier.
1A. I think
I still
they're-
think Giannis. I still think
I think
Giannis
they're
is better.
almost
Also
the same.
shrugging his shoulders now. You
Nah,
becoming
he got
Shea
moved.
before my eyes?
No, he got moved. He saw the midi and he got.
Is it
moved.
just because
What, did he
Giannis
see
is
the
hurt?
Portland game? Is that what it was?
Yes. Come on, man. He was hitting threes.
He did hit a few threes.
Giannis is hitting threes.
He should.
No,
like
Giannis is hitting three. Giannis is also
Shea's
not playing.
really good,
But
man.
Mars,
I
do you
will
think
say-
Shea's better? No.
Shea's really good, man.
Wait,
Um,
Mars thinks Shea's better?
I think I've said that for a while.
I
I just
think
I
that-
just stay out of the top 4 conversations. But anyone who's listened to me, I've been pretty clear that I think Jokic and Shea are the 2 best in the world. But
What's the separator between SGA and Giannis? What's the separator?
pure vibes, man. It's pure vibes.
Winning.
Bag.
Right.
The bag and winning.
No, it's the gap as the score, in my opinion.
You think there's a gap scoring?
I just think
He
Shea,
does not
the
have-
level. I think Shea is like, I'm very comfortable saying Shea's a better offensive player.
Yeah, I'm kind of
comfortable
there.
too. It's
Yeah,
comfortable.
I'm kind of there.
Is
That's
that just because Giannis in the playoffs hasn't translated, like offensively?
No, he translated last year.
Yeah, exactly. That's well, I'm saying his team offense. I don't
it's
know if they
just-
were that great.
I feel like
his
people
team isn't-
overblow the
isn't bad.
Giannis in the playoffs at this point.
Do y'all see Shea?
And by the way, we haven't seen really Giannis in the playoffs that often. So.
Again, I think you guys
Offense.
over-index on like passing and playmaking. When you're just that level of scorer, like the offense just comes so easy.
Giannis is averaging.
Yeah, but
Giannis
Giannis is a
scorer?
great
I mean, he had like one of the top.
I just think
offensive
Shea. I
players
just
in
think
the
Giannis is
Shea's
a
a
scorer.
borderline flawless offensive player. So I don't know what to tell you. I just
Until it's on.
Yeah, but
Flawless
isn't that the
offensive.
next
That's not
isn't
true.
that the
Flawless
next
and
Flawless
he falls in the
offensive player.
playoff. I'm sure.
Because in the playoffs he drops because Shea is a guard that lacks the athletic abilities to impose himself and get to the rim. You see him drop off in the playoff because he has to use counters and like worm his way to the basket. He
That's
doesn't
The only place.
also his 3-point shot like comes and goes too. So that's
does.
a flaw for SGA. Like he's not like a perfect offensive player, but
I mean, flawless in the sense that he bleeds value, not in the sense that he's actually not.
I know what you're trying to say. I feel like he doesn't literally do everything on offense. That's what I'm.
Yeah, he doesn't. I'm not saying he does everything amazing.
Where did
I'm
Giannis
saying he
lead
doesn't
it?
bleed value offensively when he does stuff. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like he's providing elite value at everything he does.
I agree too, but my disagreement is that I don't think SGA clears Giannis. I think that's like people are only saying that because SGA
I wouldn't
is
say
winning
clears
so much.
I heard clear.
I think clears is too strong a word for any of these.
Okay, let me
I think he's comfortably better on offense. That's all I'll say.
I don't
comfortably, yeah.
think
I still wouldn't say Shea clears on offense. I would just say
I'd say comfortably.
I don't think it's comfortable.
Real talk,
yeah,
you're
I
gonna
would say
let
I'm
this
comfortable
slide?
with my decision, but I don't think that means he clears.
No, it's just because I am coming to because watching like Milwaukee this season, right? And you know, their guard is Ryan Rollins now, right? It's not Damian Lillard. No, I'm not saying that it to be like, you know what I'm saying? But so they're going to Giannis late in these games, and it's like, hey, Giannis, can you, I don't know,
You
get
see
a
that
few
air ball?
buckets
You
in
see
a
that air
row
ball?
in this
Has
half-court setting?
Giannis has way more responsibilities, though.
But hold on, but even still, like some those scoring limitations, they scream at you then, like in those parts of the game where it's like, oh shit, like if he can't bulldoze to the basket effectively, if he does have to shoot this pull-up jumper, he's probably going to miss.
Oh my!
And then if they foul him, he's probably going to go to the free throw line and miss free throws. And
that's true.
What would separate Giannis even then compared to like a Shea is that okay, but usually Mars, that type of player is so much more efficient than like a jump shooting slasher, pull-up shooter type player. The problem is that Shea's also at like 67 true shooting. And
Shea is more efficient.
And I can ask Shea to do that, what he does and how he scores all game, including the fourth quarter. He lives in isolation.
I want to be clear that if you have SGA over Giannis, I don't have a problem with that. I think they're neck and neck players. I just want to defend Giannis a little bit because I think like there's a lot of this argument really isn't in his favor because he has like a much worse team than SGA. So we don't see the best of Giannis. If Giannis was on the San Antonio Spurs with Wemby or something like that, he was on a team where he can shine more. I think people would view this discussion
that doesn't give Giannis a jump shot though. Like I'm talking about him as
people would think his defense is a lot better. It could be up to that like.
I would actually Giannis, I think, has been playing good defense this year. So.
Yeah, but he won't get that credit as a top 5, top 10 defender. But if he was on OKC, he probably would. I mean, Shea literally got DPOI votes last year. No, I'm saying people would be more inclined to say that because they see him.
People would talk about him differently if he was winning more. Like the discussion about Giannis.
Shea gets boosted by that OKC.
I just don't think that makes him better.
Yeah, does perception make you a better player? Like,
no, but the situation show you that you can be more valuable.
Like your situation.
This is going back to are they a better basketball player or is it NBA value? Right, NBA value relies on coaching, scheme, the players around you, all these other stuff. While as being a basketball player is just your innate
one has
ability.
Doc Rivers as his coach. That has to be. So.
But even offensively,
but at the end of the reason why that kind of argument especially doesn't work for these like great one-on-one players is that is available on every team. Right, it's not like Shea is running around screens and he needs this player to be high IQ to know when I pass it here, I'm coming around the baseline. And no, a player like Shea, a player like Harden, oh my goodness, when we had a first step, a player like Luka, what makes them so deadly is that we don't need any theatrics. The offense can be Shea is dribbling at the top of the key against the man in front of him, and he can consistently whoop his ass every single time. He can create an advantage.
We're talking about defense, not offense. I agree with you on offense. That makes sense, but defense is completely different.
I know, but I'm saying like I'm saying we were arguing the offense, and I'm like that.
No, me and him were just talking about defense and Shea, and how if Giannis was on OKC, his defense would be seen as better.
I also want to push back on Real Talk's point about like SGA is better because one-on-one. It doesn't matter what situation you're in. Like you can't just erase the context of being in a like historic all-time great team. Like I know
they're not great offensive.
But then also in the half court, they're not an elite half court.
He's not in an all-time great offensive context.
It's defense. He's getting great on defense for sure, but
I mean, it is though. Like there are games where like it's weird. Yeah, there are games where like
half court offense. They're not an all-time great half court offense.
But his offense always delivers.
I'm saying just in general, like what one like your defense will create offense, and then also like
they're leading the half court though.
Yeah, I'm saying
okay,
within the
context, half court.
But that's because of Shea. That's
can you get on-off numbers for the half court offensive?
I don't have that in front of me.
So but Shea has a consistent, like he has consistently, like his offense is consistently good. Like even if they're not like great, they consistently.
I agree that Shea is excellent. I agree that Shea like makes this team amazing. But what I'm trying to say here is that like what I'm trying to say is this not like an 18 LeBron type shit. Like Shea, he benefits from the context of his team, and Shea is brilliant. Shea is great. But like that, he gets to everything he does good gets magnified because he's on OKC. I sound like
I get what you're saying. But I wouldn't say like
he is currently suffering from what Steph suffered from in 2016.
Yeah. Also, I also want to say
where he's a benefactor of how great his team is compared to everyone else.
Like I also want to say the thing is
more so 2017 in comparison to like Russell Westbrook. If you guys were around when people were arguing that 2017 Russ was better than Steph,
this is not even the same
because Steph had all of this around him, and Russ had Oladipo. This is what Shea is benefiting. He's getting taxed for the fact that his situation is amazing.
I mean, that's a reasonable tax, though.
Cool. I'm making sure I'm commentating on what's going on, whether or not I agree with it.
But the problem with the Bucks isn't like offense, though. The Bucks have good offensive players. They have Miles Turner, a spacer. They have AJ Green, a spacer. Like they're not a bad offense. That's not the problem with the Bucks. The Bucks are a bad defense. They're not even.
The Bucks are a good offense. That's why they can't create anything when
they're a good offense.
No, they're a good offense around.
They're a good offense,
because you can just surround Giannis with shooters.
But even that's what Shea though. Shea's going to be on the court tonight with like Jalen Williams, like Brandon Carlson, Caruso, and they're gonna have like a fucking 120 offensive rating.
Yeah, Shea has one of the best
two-way
rating
of the offense.
League as his second.
I'm saying also even like if you take J-Dub off or if you take Chet off or if you take iHeart off, his offense looks like even better.
What? Mars, what you got going on, Mars?
Mars, this your audience?
Got somebody up here casting a spell on us or something.
Yo, he said EIO, bro. He doing his vocabulary, bro.
He needs to learn to read. You know, literacy.
The context of these offenses aren't like that like far apart. It's my entire point. Like,
what do you know what Giannis would be doing if you just switch? Like if he had a Jalen Williams, he would look better if he just had like
even Shay's been cooking without J-Dub. He's been doing all of this without Jalen.
Giannis had Dame last year,
and Dame was playing like garbage last year.
Dame last year was better offensively than J-Dub.
Yeah, but they don't fit as well.
J-Dub's not even playing.
Are we serious? Is this what we're doing?
Well, no, tell Giannis to be portable.
Dame last year wasn't better offensively than J-Dub?
No, he says fit. He says a fit issue.
Yeah, I'm gonna read my super chats. We ain't got time for this. The Trib one said floor and ceiling raisers is really a portability argument. Russ is not seen as a ceiling raiser because he's less portable than like Paul George. I agree. I still think he raises ceilings though. For me, better player means over. This is all from the Trib one. All of his super chats to close the show. For me, a better player means overall impact. I'm a little biased towards defense. Some think better is just bag work. Some think rings equals better, etc. Dre is better than Kenyon for basically every argument, to be honest. That discussion is weird to me. Kenyon is less skilled offensively and worse on defense. Shout out to J Kidd. He's being underrated for real. Most great players are less efficient on bad teams, I assume. I think Boogie is one of the most skilled ever. And I think Boogie got injured near his prime. That part is true. Bigger gap. Oh, this is a question. Okay. Bigger gap. OKC defense versus the field or Wemby's individual defense versus the field? I pick Wemby. I think the Lakers in 5 till Rui gets benched. Love Rui though. I think OKC are so far ahead of the next best team in comparison to Wemby. Like, I don't.
Who's the second?
No disrespect to Wemby.
I think Rudy Gobert's having another.
Who is the second best defender in the league?
Gobert.
Chet, probably. I don't know.
Chet, Bam, Gobert, maybe.
But I think Wemby's better than the field, but I don't think it's like this massive gap. Like it's a small gap.
You think
But
he
OKC
clears?
I'm comfortable with the gap. I just think OKC are so far clear.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think OKC is the greatest defense ever.
You think like Chet
yeah,
cleared? You think Wemby clears Chet on defense like right now?
Yeah.
You think it's like obvious?
Nah, he's I can say for sure that he's better, but not massive.
Clear that nigga?
I don't think he's clear.
I know there's a context around OKC. It's like I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll wait for OKC to lose this year so everyone can realize Shay's a fraud.
I find it funny that everyone got so high on OKC when they're hating off last year.
It's funny I'm people use Shea when no one.
Well, I was hearing all these talks.
I was saying Shea was the second best in the league last year.
You were saying.
No. What I'm saying is when it came to the Denver Indiana series, everyone's saying that this team's a fraud. Why are you letting these inferior teams take you to this level? But now that they won, it's just like those teams are actually just ridiculously good teams, and OKC just overcame the odds, and now they're unbeatable. I find it interesting.
I do think people underrate Indiana.
I think they're starting to overrate.
OKC's not unbeatable, but they are like damn near close to it though. I don't think OKC is like the 2017 Warriors, but they are pretty close to it.
But then the comp around it,
Shea is better than Steph, and KD and J-Dub aren't that far apart.
Hell no.
J-Dub actually has.
I saw that on Twitter too.
Whoever that guy was, shout out to him, man. Thunder vibes.
Well, they're losing tonight against the Wolves. So shout out.
Shout out to damn. That tweet got 29 likes. Eesh.
They don't like it.
I've been there when you get a tweet with a bunch of views and only get 5 likes. Gonna be cancelled. Anyway, that does it. That does it. I
put my name on the line for this man.
My name.
Yeah, okay, buddy. I told you real talk. Okay, I said no more than 2 hours. 2 hours 15 ain't bad.
Yeah.
Improving. That does it for today. Shout out to everyone who pulled up. Thank you to everyone who sent Superchats. Thank you to everyone who watched. Leave a comment if you want about what you think makes someone a better player. We will be back on Saturday on Real Talks Playback. The link for that will be in the description. I don't know what we'll be talking about yet, but it should be fun. Anyway, until then, Merry Christmas, goodbye, and have an amazing day. Goodbye, Dab. There you go.